Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, the world's biggest Harry Kane fan. And today we are bringing you a match review and tactical overlook of our massive victory over the Magpies. Still reveling in it. And of course, to help us along today, we are always joined by co-host Mr. Kanicki. How you keeping, brother?
Looking forward to this one, Dave. Kind of the last one I thought was a really good one to break down because we saw it personally. Then we kind of broke down, the film of it. This time, of course, only relegated to what we could, really see on our screens. But I feel like, as always, still got a really good grasp of the game. Still have really good answers to kind of provide for maybe how we were able to get such a big scoreline. But yeah, David, looking forward to it. I'm also liking the series that you came up with.
No, and look, hopefully everybody else likes it. And look, we'll get in, of course, before we do get into it. I want to welcome some Irish Hotspur army and see how they're keeping, checking in on them as we always do. And we have Tottenham Tantrum Golden. He says, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the breakdown. Let's all get ready for all the people around the world and the people watching here. The last word that has to be said, it's showtime. Big up, Dermot. And he also says, introducing two of the best guys around on YouTube. First, the man who has Ireland and Spurs running through his body. He is the one and only David Harry Kane, Irish Hotspur Harris. Come on, you Harris Army. And his partner in crime, he really is the man with all the stats. He is Tottenham Hotspur's USA biggest fan. He would help Conte guide our team to the promised land. He is Jack's son, stats man, Kanicki. Big up, Dermot. Really do appreciate it.
I would take the position of one of Conte's henchmen, my man. I would take the position of a henchman.
No, 100%. Big yourself up, Dermot. We also have Killian Kenny in the house. He wants me to sing for him. He wants me to sing. It's a long way from Clare to here. Look, my man, my vocals, my tonsils are sore from singing and singing all weekends for Tottenham. And plus, look, Simon Cowell has been harassing me to sign up for his agency and I won't do it. So I'm not singing anymore. He's drove me away from singing, my man, but big up. Moondog says, a very good evening, lads. Very good evening, Moondog. I hope you are keeping well, sir. We also have Mick Hermelot. Good evening, lads. I hope you're also keeping well. Mick, big yourself up. We have Matt C. Good evening, lads. Can't believe believe Arsenal still have Alexander, lack of threat as their striker. I'm still so hyped about our win and their loss yesterday. Come on, you Spurs. Yeah, look, honestly, I thought the guy was a concrete wall at times. The ball was just going up there, bouncing off him. It was great to see, to be honest with you. And long may it continue. Long may it continue. That's all I can say, Matt C. Big yourself up. We have Adrian. He says, drinking some Gooner's tears. It tastes exquisite. Well, my man, make sure there's enough to go around for everybody in the chat. I'm sure everybody would like a sample of that, my man. Big yourself up, Adrian.
Especially some of us had too many of them last night, Adrian. So, you kind of got to spare them out for the rest of the week. Like Sean, I think, put in the comments later, he's a bit down, that maybe there isn't another big rival dropping points today. So, definitely use those tears wisely, my man.
No, I love it. I love it. I will get to Spurs, Shawty's chat there. It's a good one. It is a good one. William Pretty, though, Jack, he says, you need to go to a rugby game, the sport that William loves the most.
I mean, yeah, I kind of fell out of love with the NFL. So, maybe time to get into rugby, Dave. Maybe not a bad idea and have Dave be my chaperone. There you are, William. I like the idea.
There you are, William. We'll get you to a rugby game. We'll get Jack to a rugby game. I'll take him to a Six Nations Ireland game. I've never been to one either, so we can experience one together, my man. Footy Clips Daily says, evening flat caps. Evening Footy Clips Daily. I hope you are keeping well as well. I see the badge beside your name. Come on the fan show next Monday, please. We'd love to see. We want to get more faces from out behind their screens. Paul Markey says, what did Woolwich last win with was the Palace fans singing, come on, you Spurs? I don't know, to be honest. I don't think we had, I didn't have the sound on. Me and Jack were sitting there watching it together in the back end, just vibing out, watching it together. But look, I'm absolutely delighted they got thumped last night. I couldn't believe what I was watching, to be honest with you. But we know that Palace can do that. And look, after the United game, me, Sean, and Jack were sitting there looking at the fixtures, the top four, and we were kind of saying about that, that we got bet there. Palace isn't an easy place to go. And look what happens. And Shawnee, boy, that's what happens when you keep the faith, my man. Big yourself up.
I would say it's always bad, Paul, as well. When you have Jordan Ayew looking good against you, it's never a good sign, because Dave and I have never rated that guy, and he was somehow, one of their better players, which is never a good sign. Never a good sign.
Oh, stop. Big up, my man. Cotlano Pena says, now they are feeling the heat. Arsenal hope we take game by game. No, all we have to do now, look, it's in our own hands, and we've just got to take it game by game, keep putting the points on the board. I know they have a game in hand, but we have a North London derby to be able to sort that out. So, and plus we have 5 goal difference. So, in effect, our destiny is in our own hands. We just got to take it game by game and keep winning them games. But big up, my man. Harrison Brownlee says, Coys. Big up, Harrison Brownlee. Paddy Higgins says, Jesus, Dave, that music just scared the shite out of me. Volume was way up, way too loud.
Probably driving down the motorway, Dave.
It woke you up for the stream, my man. It woke you up. It was the alarm. Big yourself up, my man. We have Pure F from Vintage. Yo. Big yourself up, man. I hope you're keeping well. Tala Ahmed, I hope you're keeping well. Really do appreciate the special donation to the channel yesterday, my man. It really helps. Big yourself up, brother. We have Faz Radfar. Big up, guys. David, don't forget I put 50 euro on Kane to be top scorer when he only had 1 goal before exit. My bet is still alive. No, 100% it is. But Kane is sacrificing the goals for the greater good of the team to be chief creator. So, look, Sonny could end up pulling away, my man. I hate to say it. Well, I don't hate to say it because it's good for Tottenham. But in your case, I do think Sonny
in the case of the betting,
and we'll explain why throughout the show. Because Kane is the chief creator now, Faz. But I do hope it happens for you and for me because it'll be absolutely a glorious day, Faz. We have Spurs Talk Show, even though what a boring day today. No rivals dropping points anywhere. Shawnee, I could get used to these rivals dropping points. I mean, we had Chelsea, served us up a delicious starter on Saturday. A nice 4-1 from Brentford. Then, Spurs, of course, on Saturday, they gave us the main course, Shawnee. And just as I thought my belly was full, I couldn't handle anymore. Last night, the Eagles stuffed Palace the Eagles stuffed Arsenal, and they gave us the dessert. 3 goals in that as well. I'm severely full. I can't take anymore. Maybe a day or two off, Sean. Probably do us the world of good, my man, because we don't want to be entering 5-10-course meals, my man. But big up, Sean. I could get used to it, though. I really could get used to it, and hopefully we have a good weekend like it this weekend. Absolute legend. Paul says, how's Trick, lads? Hope you're having a good day. We are having a brilliant day, my man. Honestly, I'm surfing on the wave of love right now. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. William Pretty says, when the Spurs go marching in, my man, I want to be drinking the Arsenal tears. Absolutely love it. We have RAI says, big up Jack and Dave and everyone in the chat. Big yourself up, my man. We also have Ranam Not Founty. Hi. Big yourself up, my man. I hope you're keeping well. Paro Miguel Escoberto, big up the dynamic team. Big up everyone in the chat. Paro all the way from Lagos. I hope you're keeping well and you're having a good day, sir. Paddy Higgins, big up, lads. Big yourself up, my man. And we have Dark Sun G. Big up, Dark Sun G. I hope you are keeping well, brother. Some amazing stats last night. I'm quite jealous. I need to know where you went and got them.
Probably going to outdo us again tonight, Dave. We're probably going to get outdone again.
We come into these streams and we're like, yeah, we've got banging stats.
I forget which one was the mic drop last night. He had a mic drop one last night, but I forget which one. But yeah, sorry, Dave.
No, it was. Honestly, we come into these, we're like, we got banging stats now. This would be a good one. And then Dark Zone G just comes along and blows them all out of the water. It's absolutely amazing, though. I love it. And he says, Gunners should have played us in January when we were poor. No Kulu, Bentancur, Cutie, Romero, Dyer, Son, Skip, and a firing Kane. Now they have no Tierney and Party, lol. Well, I remember saying the other day, I hope kind of life catches up to them. Well, it has. 2 best players are out injured. 2 players that are key to their bit of steel in that team. It's absolutely brilliant. Jack, what do you want to say to Dark Sun G? Are they being rewarded for cheating?
Dark Sun G, you could say that, they ran away probably without a Kulu and a Bentancur, in the squad. The fact that now they're going to be facing hopefully a fully fit Spurs squad with the additions of Kulu and Bentancur, no Lucas, they were running away from Lucas, Dave. They were running away from potentially Harry Winks, Dave. That's, I don't know, Dave. It's a bit scary, and Dark Sun G as well. It's a bit scary knowing that this team, ran away from those sort of kind of players. And, no offense to, players like Lucas and whatnot, but seriously, like, they ran away from a team without the likes of a Kulu and a Bentancur, which only tells you what might happen when they come over to our place.
I hope we batter them, because I want the whole stand there to just stand there and sing, "You ran away from Winksy, you ran away from Winksy." I'd love to see it. I'll pick up Dark Sun G. I love the name change, Paddy. He says, "Evening, folks. Another goal for Parrot. Things looking up on all fronts for Spurs." Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing for Troy, man. He's like, look, he scored an absolute screamer for Ireland. And when he came on, he's the only one that actually wanted to take the game to Lithuania. And it kind of reminded me a bit of a Robbie Keane-esque, to be honest with you. And I know Troy Parrott probably won't reach them levels, but the shades of it in there. And then scoring again, it's absolutely, things are looking up. And Paddy, let me know, do you think maybe Troy could come in and be the backup striker next season? Let me know that, Toxic Paddy. Big yourself up, my man. George says, "Hello, Jack and Dave," and all in the chat. Big up, George.
Big up, George.
Good to see you in, my man. WCYH1 says, "Patrick Viagra, come on, you Spurs. Big yourself up, man. Absolutely love that." Dark Song G says, "Gooners will lose to Brighton and Man U will lose to Everton." Look, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing another Ty crying about Mopé again, to be honest with you. Mopé, you cheat. Or even better, it'd be nice if it was like Aaron Connolly, you cheat, because that would be epic. I'd absolutely love that. But United losing to Everton, I mean, there is definitely that danger, to be honest with you. But Everton are really poor, though. They make mistakes at the back, and they're not clinical enough going forward. But United aren't really great going forward without Ronaldo either, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's hard to say, with Man United, with Everton, it's hard to maybe find any inspiration, and maybe Everton finding something in that. I mean, I just slammed Lampard for 6 minutes over on the second channel, so it's probably really hard for me to make a case for them to get a result in that one. But Brighton, apparently, some people have been saying it's a bit of a bogey team for Arsenal, but it also is the battle of the fraud managers, between Graham Potter and Mikel Arteta as well. So Dark Sun G, I'm looking forward to that one, my man. Battle of the frauds.
Harry Potter versus the hair that can't be moved, Derby. That's going to be a good one. It really is. Big up, Dark Song G. Hope you're keeping well, my man. Bard Ben says, "Kieran Tiny out for the season. Party is out. Bad run of games. Not looking for Woolwich." Well, look, at least Party can live up to his name and go, Party, now. He's no part to play in the rest of the season, so it's brilliant. Absolutely love it. Big up, Bard Ben. Who else have we got here? Oh, Rockstar 90 Football Clip Dailies. I started my channel, different name, same support for the Flat Cats. Well, look, I'll get over there and I'll check it out, my man. Absolutely love the name change. You and Paddy have something in common. Scott Inan says,
"No, funny clips. No, now it's good. Just the whole personality has changed. The whole personality has changed. Big up,
complete new person." Scott Inan says, "Big up, lads. Loving life. Come on, you Spurs. Big yourself up, Scott." I think we all are, my man. We all are. Ricky Nato is in the house. Evening, Dave and Jack. Just love this show and the legends. Come on, you Spurs. Well, look, hopefully people can keep loving it and we can keep riding this wave of positivity, my man. Big up, Ricky. Really appreciate them kind of words. Carlos Farnos says, "Big up and good night, lads. Come on, you Spurs, and F to scum." Big up and have a good sleep, my man. Big yourself up.
Set the tone.
Donovan Oosterreicher, Papa Vieira came through. Look, I had no doubts he was. I saying to Jack, the day before the game, I was like, or was it even during the game or before the game, I was saying to Jack, look, Vieira has one eye on that Arsenal job. If he can turn over Arsenal and turn them over well, and they don't get top four, they then have a decision to make, and Vieira could put his name in the ring,
Yeah.
Look what he's done with Zaha, they brought in Edouard, Conor Gallagher, Tyreek Mitchell, Schlupp is performing. You've got a few other players there. I mean, he's done very well with that Palace team. He's turned them from a very defensive team under Roy Hodgson to a very a good attacking team under Vieira. And look, if he can do that with Palace, what could he do with Arsenal? So I think he has one eye on that job, to be honest with you.
He's played some very progressive football over there. Like you said, Dave, he's gotten the most out of a lot of players. Also, the transfer business that they've done there has actually been remarkable, considering how old their squad was last season. They've gotten rid of all the old players, put in a huge injection of youth. It's looking great over there. Yeah, and like you said, David, I think it's a great theory of yours, to be honest. I really think it was a theory I haven't thought of. And who knows as well, Dave, maybe Antonio Conte was going to buy Papa Vieira dinner afterwards, because in my experience when I was in South London, Dave, actually some very good Italian around there. So I wouldn't be surprised if Antonio Conte, maybe treated him after the game.
Oh, absolutely love it. Joel H says, evening, boys. It's lovely day of roasting my Gooner pals in the group chat. Well, speaking of roast, I hope you had all the sides and all the trimmings to go with it, my man. Absolutely live off this one for the next while anyway, Joel. And hopefully then we can absolutely roast them at home in that magnificent Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Put a nice glazing on them and you can really roast them then, my man. Big up, Joel. Hope you're keeping well. Dark Song G says, Blues will lose to Southampton and West Ham will lose to Brentford. Jack, what's your take?
Lose to Southampton, it's hard to know. Like Ralph Hasenhüttl, it felt like they had a little surge at a certain stage. Are they just going to kick back, relax, and just enjoy the southern seaside day for the rest of the season? I don't know. It feels hard. I feel like with Hasenhüttl, I think he also he goes through a lot every season. I wouldn't be surprised if he's just kind of relaxing. I feel like the Blues will overtake him, Dark Sun G. But Dark Sun G, call me out for it when I get this wrong as well, my man. But West Ham to Brentford, yeah, I could see it, to be fair. Two really annoyingly defensive teams going at it. Could be a big stalemate
and both
there.
good area from set pieces, Jack.
Yeah, both teams actually good from set pieces, you could say. And also, maybe if West Ham don't score their set pieces, Dave, then can they really create anything from open play against Brentford? I'm not so sure.
Could be a very boring game, that one, to be honest with you, Dark Song G. Under 2.5 goals in that one, I reckon, to be honest with you. But we'll wait and see. Claude Murphy, and big up Dark Song G. I really do appreciate the support, brother. You're a top man. Claude Murphy says, what the fuck is wrong with Jamie Redknapp telling Ericsson not to join Spurs? Who told that 30 rat Tottenham wanted to sign Ericsson? Is he Ericsson's agent? Taking on the Philip Brady role today. I absolutely love it. Claude Murphy continuing on.
Fraud sports.
Leon says, evening, lads. Hope all is well with yourselves. All is absolutely good, my man. Honestly, I'm so high off Arsenal's defeat last night. I don't want to come back down to reality, to be honest with you, Leon. We also have Dave Tyson. Evening, lads. Big up, Davey boy. I hope you're keeping well. Bob Squash, V2, Harris Army. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Bob Squash. Up, Bob. Rachel Vida. It's good to see you back here, Bob Squash. Rachel Vida says Europa Conference League for Arsenal or Man United next season, lad. Well, I mean, it was only a couple of weeks ago we were actually, having that conversation, or people were putting us in that conversation. Never gave up hope. And now we're in the run. It's in our own destiny. We just got to keep believing. Just got to keep believing, Rachel Vida. Keep turning in them performances.
Big up, Rachel.
Big up. Escapone says, welcome, friends. Glad to see everyone with a smile on. I mean, it's brilliant. It is.
Great name as well, Escapone. Brilliant.
Yeah, it is a good name. Gangsterish. I love it. Side Dancer THSE. Evening, big up, Side Dancer. I hope you're keeping well. Same as Harold T. Hello, big yourself up, my man. Jimmy Costco, he says, this is one of the only channels that wasn't writing off our chances of top four after every defeat. Something I always got stick for was saying it wasn't over. Now it feels good to see them turn. Look, just glad you can see it, my man. Just glad you can see it. Look, I'm one of them people. Look, I put out a tweet. I said, it's like people have been calling me delusional all season long. Now they're all talking my language. I mean, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Sometimes you just got to believe. You got to believe in the Irish Hotspur, Jacko. You got to believe.
Jimmy, I would just say, just hang around Dark Sun G as well. I mean, that guy has found every reason to believe this season. He has found every which way to calculate how top four could be possible. He's been thinking about goal difference since the beginning of the season. So, Jimmy, I would say just tag along with wherever Dark Sun G ends up going, because that guy has been believing from the beginning. Even called me out for it when I kind of even vocally said, I kind of was losing faith after, I think it might have been the Burnley defeat or whatever it was. But he's even still shown me the light. Dark Sun G showed me the light. So, Jimmy, just stick with him, my man.
Big up, Jimmy Costco. Hope you're keeping well, brother. Let me know where you're from, Jimmy. Let me know where you're from, my man. Georgie, big up, Georgie. Really appreciate the support. Says, smiling for next season. No more dark clouds. Come on, you Spurs. I mean, look, I'm getting this feeling that next season we're all going to have such a wonderful time, to be honest with you. I just have that feeling it's just going to be good crack, banter, smiling, laughing. And I hope that is the case, George, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day, my man. I've had enough of stress now about my team, worrying about it, the dark clouds. I just want the good times to roll in, baby, just like everybody else. So big up, Georgie boy. We have Donald O'Mahony, and he's really punishing his Gooner friend today, which is brilliant. He says, I didn't say a word to my Gooner mate all day today. I just smiled at him. He hated it. And look, it's almost worse, to be honest with you, when you don't say that, because he's been building himself up, waiting for it. And then by you not saying that, and it makes him more and more anxious all day. And he's like, when's he going to do it? What's he going to do? And then you just keep smiling and absolutely love it. But when you go in tomorrow, roast him, because he's not going to be expecting it whatsoever. So absolutely roast him tomorrow. But big up Donald O'Mahony. King Huddle's in with us. Good evening to all followers of the mighty Spurs. Big up, my man. I hope you're keeping well. Catman Jess says, big up David and Jack and the Harris Flat Cap Army. Big yourself up. We've got Ellie in the building. Big up, Ellie. I hope you're keeping well. And I know this is one woman that's loving life right now. She says, hey, faces, lads, are looking like we won 5-1. Oh, yeah, that's because we did win 5-1. Smiles all around. And Ellie will be on my team. We're going to do teams on the quiz. Ellie's on my team for the quiz at the weekend.
Good addition, Dave. Power move. That's a power, Dave. That's like bringing on, honestly, it's like bringing on Dybala or something like that. Or pretty much it's like bringing on Højbjerg, into the quiz there. I mean, Dave, I must say applause to you. Excellent addition.
We're going to call ourselves the Højbjerglites. That's what we're going to be, or the Vikings. The Vikings. That's what we're going to call ourselves, Ellie. Big yourself up. I'm not sure what this comment is about. I don't understand it. I don't know whether I should be bringing it up or not, but I don't like excluding anybody. And the Hotspur Boy 69 says, in the words of a wrestling great, Scott Steiner, big pop-up pump is your hookup. Holla if you hear me. Don't know what that's about, but it's funny. Rifle says, big up David and Jackie. Win was so vital for us. I call him Jacko, you call him Jackie. He's getting so many nicknames out here. Big up Rifle. Hope you're keeping well. We've got Kyle Patrick Vineyard. Next season we are winning the league. Come on, you Spurs. Big up KVP. I hope so, my man. I hope so. Or KPV. I keep getting that wrong every time. Derek Smith says, think it would be 8 wins, 24 points in third place. I mean, look, I don't even want to start dreaming of third. I just want to take 4 at the minute, and if third opens up, I'll take it. But, I do have one eye looking up there, so I'm not going to lie, Derek Smith. Pick yourself up, my man.
Big up, Derek.
We just take quickly the regulars in the building as well. Good to see you, the regular. I hope you're keeping well, my man. And then we have Dark Sun G says, Ragnick can't control Man United. Is why I feel they will lose to Everton. Also, Everton will do everything and anything to stay up in the Premier League. Blues play Champions League 2 days before
Southampton.
Yeah, look, we all know
that's
that.
Good logic behind that. That's good logic behind that. Rangnick, really can't control the Man United squad. Probably fair. They're so inconsistent. Everton got a result against them last time, if I recall, actually under Martinez. So maybe they were able to do it again. It seems tough though. Like I said, Darks and J, just don't rate Frank Lampard, but we'll see if they will be able to do it. And then maybe you're right actually with the Champions League, results for Chelsea. It's kind of the only thing they really have left going for them. Maybe they will kind of slip up, yet again, because I feel like they're getting third or fourth. There's no way they slip further than that. I think that would be a bit ridiculous. I just think that'd be insane. So maybe they do kind of slip up with Southampton again. Big up, Dark Sun G.
That would be nice. That would be nice. But good logic, Dark Sun G. Big yourself up, brother. Absolutely, really do appreciate support. We'll take in a few more people, and then we will crack on with what we're here to do. Ellie says, I do believe the Scum lost 3-0. Whoop, whoop. Of course they did, Ellie. Whoop, whoop. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. We also have Graham in the building. This guy's an absolute gentleman as well.
Oh, big up, Graham. Good to see
you. Him, Ellie, Barry, A.K. Nick and Jack had the privilege of sharing a nice kebab, actually, after the West Ham game. And Graham, this guy, if only people could hear the stories he has to tell, he's a good man. Alfie Gosling says, hope all is well to the legend of the world's best clubs. I can't wait for the next game and season. for the next best of enemy with expressions. It's going to be jokes. It really will. It's actually a very good show, to be fair. They do banter each other brilliantly. My man, big up Alfie. And Marlon Green is in the house. Evening, gents. Well, big up, Marlon. I hope you are keeping well, brother. But look, guys, before we do crack into it, everybody, I would appreciate if you could smash that like button. It really does help push the channel and the content out to more and more Spurs fans who can come and join our lovely positivity wave. And it'll be absolutely awesome. If you are new, why not smash that subscribe button or even watch the content, and let's prove to you why you should. And hopefully we can. And guys, feel free to get your super chats in. Do not worry if you're not in a position to be able to do so. Just put your comments in the chat. As you know, we're so good at trying to keep bringing them up all the time, and we'll stop and discuss on some of them as well. And guys, basically super chat just guarantees that it does get read out, it does get discussed, and it just means you skip the queue and we will get straight to it. And it is a great way to support the channel. But look, we are here today to give you the tactical breakdown and the tactical insight. So look, Jack, we'll hand over to you. Let's get into the game. You're going to break it down for us.
Yeah, we're just going to go quick. Yeah, just go into the match stats right away, Dave. And in the case of for Spurs, it's just quite obviously, a bit of a domination for us, with 19 total shots versus 6 on target. Newcastle 8 and 1 on target. The 1 on target was that free kick, from Fabian Schär, and then the rest of it, all went wayward of the goal. Possession-wise, the game that we actually really dominated in possession. And I do believe Sean Butler also did say that Newcastle did seem to kind of concede a lot of possession to not only just us, but a lot of teams before us as well. Seems like with Eddie Howe, it's not as much of the free-flowing sort of style that maybe we saw at Bournemouth. It's kind of a bit more conservative than we're probably used to with him. 6 big chances created by Spurs, with I think only 1 missed if I saw from SofaScore, and then 0 big chances created by Newcastle. So very excellent display from the defense. Puts a bit of perspective, you could probably say, on those performances from the midfield as well as the defense. 3.2 xG versus 0.6 xG. Definitely probably outperformed xG, but that's probably just because the chances we created were just so easy and so clinical that it just ends up, outperforming xG. But I'm not sure what really pops out here, Dave. I think just a lot of it's just kind of explains, the performance, if you ask me.
Yeah, no, just quickly, big up Nick Collison, aka Barry. He said he sang Harry Kane. He's one of our own inside the Etihad. I hope you didn't get too much stick for him, man. Absolutely love that. Big up, Nick. Quality. And I hope you actually enjoyed yourself. I believe you were there at work, so I hope you enjoyed yourself, my man. And Ellie says, what has Conte done with the 3 Ds? He's turned them into the 3 dudes. That's what he's done. Dyer, Doherty, and Davies, bloody hell, he'll put some ginseng in their tea or what. Absolutely love that, Ellie. Absolutely love it. But look, Jack, in terms of the stats, one thing I love seeing is we are creating double, if not triple, the amount of shots our opponents are. Take yourself back to the West Ham game. We created 17 to their 6. Here we have created 19 to Newcastle's 8. And what that basically does, it gives us the best opportunity to win the games. Even if the opposition score 1, we are creating the chance to score 2. And it puts us in a position just to win every single game. And if you look at the score 5-1, it reflects that we are taking them chances as well, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, everybody, it's kind of been, or like we said in the preview, lots of goals have been scored, by Spurs in the last few games. It feels like we've been winning by a huge margin of goals, and also the stats have kind of reflected that. This one, again, kind of outperformed XG a little bit, but I'm really not really too surprised.
Sorry, Jack, just quickly, I just want to touch on the shots on target and the possession one. So now if you look at the shots on target, right, we had 6 to their 1. With the quality we have in the forward areas, it actually shows how clinical we are. You can see that only 1 shot on target was not turned into a goal. And then the one that I actually love the most, Jack, is the possession one. It is the key to why we are playing so well lately, to be honest with you. And so before, if you take yourself back to before with Winks and Sanchez, we could not play out from the back. Sanchez was absolutely clamorous on the ball. He had 2 left feet, and Winks was just not brave enough or combative enough, and frankly did not move off the ball to be able to receive it. And when he did, it was backwards or sideways, which for me was actually just putting our team under even more pressure, and the defense as well, which meant then we had to, we were resorted then to pumping long balls forward and not even in their direction. and we were just gifting possession straight back to the opposition, who just built attack after attack after attack, and ultimately putting our whole team under pressure. To avoid this, you need to be able to control possession, or at least be competent in possession. And with Conte getting a lot more out of the back three, like Kelly was saying, the three dudes, Dyer, Davies, and Doherty, and with the addition of Romero, we can now actually be competent at the ball and play out from the back. But the biggest key to it all is actually Bentancur, Jack. It's his movement off the ball to be able to put himself into them pockets of space. He finds them pockets of space, moves into them so that he can receive the ball. It's massive for this. It's the absolute key to it. But the most crucial part of it is he plays forward into Kane, Son, or Kulu, but mostly Kane. To be honest with you, Jack, it is mostly Kane. And what happens then is we're receiving the ball a lot higher up the pitch, Jack, into the danger areas, which then means just we can get at that back four and run off it. So it's absolutely brilliant. And then once we do run up that back line, we can also keep possession instead of just lumping the ball forward under pressure, and we are creating a lot more chances because of this. And we are conceding less goals as well because of it. There's less shots on our goals because of it, and we can control the game as well. This is the key to why we're playing so well of late and winning games, and that's just purely down because we can manage possession. You look back under Nuno, look back under Jose, most games you come out and find out we had a lot less possession. And what was happening? Our midfield was under pressure. Our strikers were receiving the ball a lot deeper in our own half, having to try and create stuff. Our defence was under some amount of pressure all the time. And then most of the times, if we couldn't find Son or Kane, we were just booting it long, and they were just turning it over and coming at us. But since we've got players into the team like Romero, like Bentancur, we can now keep possession, which means it just takes a lot of pressure off the defensive side of the game completely.
Yeah, and I think a huge part that you kind of emphasized, what's maybe the reason we're creating so many chances, is just because we're able to run at the back four. But maybe that has to do with the depth that we kind of have at that defense. The defense is kind of just sat back enough that when we do get it into Son's, maybe Harry Kane's, maybe Kulu's feet, there's still plenty of space to be able to run at that back four. It's not like we're picking up the ball, in the final third and then turning. We're kind of picking up the ball kind of around the halfway mark and then being able to run from there. Which I think allows us, like you said, to run at the back four. And when you're running at the back four with those quality players, you create a lot of chances.
No, like 100%. How many times do we see before that Son was deep in his own half trying to run up the pitch with it? Lucas was. Kane was deep trying to get on the ball and turn, and there was no one else higher up the pitch because we just couldn't get out. But since we've got the possession now, it's completely transformed our whole game.
Absolutely. And it's good to see on their performance where we did have a lot of possession, and kind of similar to the West Ham match. I wish we had a bit more possession, but kind of the way that we controlled the ball, I think it kind of made it seem like we had a lot more than maybe even the stats probably like to show. But Dave, I figure we just take a look at the formations, the two teams here. Of course, we kind of lined up in our standard 3-4-3 with Doherty out wide. They lined up with a 4-3-3, and that's what they kind of been doing more of recent. Newcastle wasn't much of a surprise if anybody watched Stats with Jack. This is kind of what we did expect them to go with. I think the big kind of thing that was a bit of a surprise was I did forget about Javier Manquillo. I kind of went for Emil Kraft instead of him. I feel like he didn't really have as much of an effect as he probably was expected to. Joe Willock, maybe they just wanted the Gooner blood in there, Dave, but I think I expected Bruno Guimaraes to be there. But then the rest of the lineup is kind of what we predicted on Stats with Jack. And it was a 4-3-3 with kind of a Joe Linton working pretty hard, getting up and down the pitch, as well as a Joe Willock. John Joe Shelby pretty much just sits right in front of that back four. Manquillo sort of, maybe getting forward, but not really from what I can recall. It felt like Target was the one that was actually getting more forward at times. Alan St. Maximin, pretty much their danger man, as we all know. And then Chris Wood, if any time they need to go route one, is that sort of player for them as well.
Yeah. No, look, just for me, if you look at this, you look at the Newcastle formation that they have there. The formation actually worked really well in the first half, Jack, as they were actually frustrating us and keeping us to a lot of half chances and shots from outside the box. I mean, remember Bentancur had one as well. But they did change in the second half, and they played a lot more of a higher line, which played into our hands, left us a lot more space in behind, and we exploited that clinically. And in the second half, but we were also a lot more accurate with our passing as well. To be honest with you, and it was nice to see. And that's what won us the game in the end. I also think not starting Gomes, actually, Jack, for Newcastle was a huge mistake, to be honest with you. And playing Matt Doherty at left wing back turned out to be a masterclass.
Feel like if they had started Gamarish, they would have been able to control the ball more. If maybe had they been able to win it back. Joe Willock, not really a tempo setter, if you ask me, Dave. Maybe more what they kind of asked him to do, I guess, which was kind of be that guy surging into the box, maybe to grab a goal, for them. But other than that, he really didn't have any sort of foothold on the game, and he doesn't really offer too much, I think, as well defensively in comparison to Gamarish. So it's kind of I agree with you. I feel like that's probably what they should have gone with. To be fair, maybe we wrap up, or maybe we go into the average positions, Dave.
Yep, let's move.
All right, so these are just the average positions taken, of course, across the whole 90 minutes. I wish we were able to maybe, get it in maybe kind of more like 25-minute spells or kind of things like that. But you take a look at maybe I'll break down Newcastle's, and then I'll do a bit of Spurs's, and then we can pass it off to Dave, to maybe talk a bit more about Spurs's. But in Newcastle's, at least what's probably quite obvious is that they really did try to attack our right-hand side of, Emerson and Romero. I mean, you can see St. Maximin, you can see Joe Linton there, you can see Chris Wood, Target. They're all kind of clumped together. From what I would imagine, maybe that just means that whenever they did get the ball over there, they just wanted to overload that sort of side and, maybe just make it a bit overwhelming, for the likes of Romero and maybe Emerson. Potentially, it's just because a lot of teams seem to be targeting that right-hand side, whether it's been Doherty, whether it's been Emerson. It just seems to be the side that a lot of teams seem to target. And I don't know, Dave, maybe we're reading too much into the average positions there. But from what it can tell me is that they really seem to target it. Dan Burn, seems to maybe because they targeted that right-hand side so much, was actually pushed up a bit higher, perhaps to protect it in case, they left too many people forward over there. John Joe Shelby was almost dropping into the back four at times, but he also is that tempo setter, as we know. Fabian Scher was spread very far away, but it's also just because those two can really spread the ball when they need to. Frazier and Menquillo seem to be just off on their own right flank, maybe being able to do work out there. But if I can recall, and even when we watched the game, Dave, a lot of the game really did concentrate actually on our right-hand side whenever Newcastle did have the ball, I feel like.
Yeah, no, 100% they did, Jack. And look, I don't know whether that was a decision made, whether Doherty would have been there or not, or was that based on Emerson. But they definitely do look at it. If you look at it, they definitely do target the right-hand side as a weakness. But, Jack, if you want to just move on to the next slide there, and I'll just talk a little bit on this. If you do look at their backline, it is so disjointed, and look at the space in behind there to attack. Now, credit to them, they did do their homework and realize how much Antonio was isolated when we smashed the bubble sympathizers. And as you can see, he actually tried to get men forward to support Wood, but their quality just wasn't good enough. We defended really well, and we took the ball off them, and we played through them. Eddie Howe's attacking approach, for me, was probably a bit naive of him and cost them the game. It played right into our hands and left them open at the back, Jacko. If you look at the bodies on the right-hand side, like you were saying, I do think they definitely thought that was a weakness, interestingly enough. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that, Jack.
I think maybe the last thing I would just say, that's just a bit of a typo. It was 44% of the attacks went down our right-hand side. So they did especially target it, which explains the average positions there. Joe Willock maybe was just kind of sitting there potentially to, like I said, be that maybe extra midfielder to also help out Chris Wood, like maybe David said, but also I feel like to score, maybe a tap in or a rebound or something. And he did actually have one good moment where he did get past, I believe one or two players. And then Christian Romero, I believe it was, Dave, had that unbelievable block, to keep it out from going in the net. But maybe just one last thing I want to say, Dave. Joe Linton, someone who we've always really struggled with, I felt like went missing in this one. What do you think happened to Joe Linton? Was it just him, just getting kind of snuffed out by Højbjerg and Bentancur? Or do you think it was, maybe something else? Maybe it was just the tactics done wrong?
I think, look, in previous years where Joe Linton has probably hurt us, we've relinquished possession a lot of the times. This time, we haven't relinquished any possession. We dominated possession, so they were really struggling to try and get him into the game. And to be honest with you, I don't recall him being anywhere close to Bentancur and Højbjerg to even try and win the ball back and get them into the game. I'm not sure what happened to him, Jack, but he has hurt us down the years, albeit playing as a forward, though, rather than a midfielder, but he just went completely missing.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I agree with that, Dave. I feel like, and again, maybe not much to be said about the right hand side because really just not much of the game was really concentrated over there. I feel like for Newcastle. Going on to maybe Spurs' average positions, what was really fascinating again was how far Doherty seemed to be tucked in. But I feel like what it was for him was that he knew that if he kind of dribbled into these sort of, maybe you could say kind of cul-de-sacs or, kind of into kind of a bad alleyway where I feel like if he just took it too far down the left-hand side, he would end up cutting inside and really having no one to play to. But what he seemed to do is just cut inside early. That way he could always just switch play to either Bentancur, he could switch play to Emerson, he switched plays to Kulusevski. So I feel like that was actually quite a clever maybe move by Doherty, probably also instructed by Antonio Conte, maybe, don't get me wrong. We saw kind of a lot of similar things, though, I feel like, to West Ham, Dave. Anytime the Harry Kane drops deep into this sort of area, to pick up the ball, maybe pass his own halfway line, Sonny fills in as the striker through the middle in order to receive that pass in behind. Also, just, maybe so that any center back that were to follow Kane, they'll just get absolutely burned because they'll have Sonny, being able to fill in that sort of void through the middle. That's something that we saw through West Ham, but I think, again, we saw it on display so many different times with Newcastle, because anytime the Kane picks up the ball, you see Sonny start drifting towards the middle to try to occupy that space. Kulusevski, I think he had the most goal creating actions, most shot creating actions. He was very creative out wide. And then Emerson, by his average position, kind of maybe in comparison to Doherty, was more kind of keeping that width, so that Matt Target had to be a bit more honest, perhaps, especially since Kulusevski likes to cut inside, Dave. It kind of makes sense that Emerson would trail behind him and keep that width just so that Matt Target doesn't cheat and, maybe doesn't, predict when Kulusevski comes inside.
Yeah, exactly. Spot on, Jack. Very well explained, I have to say. But look, last week we seen this and we explained it, and I was explaining it yesterday. Like, look, Kane drops deep to pick up that ball, and the reason why it's him is purely because out of the front three, Jack, he has the best passing range, and his unselfishness to do it as well, Jack. It's absolutely incredible. No striker in world football wants to give up being the vocal point or getting the goals for the team, or giving up the goals for the greater good of the team. Look, there's been plenty of examples down the year. You all listen to what Zlatan has said. Etu refused to do it for most of his career, bar Jose Mourinho. There's countless of other examples. And Kulu and Son know and trust Harry Kane that when they do make them runs, that he will actually find them, Jack. And that's why they make them runs, And because, look, we've all played the game. You're not going to go and make a run if a certain player's on the ball because he just doesn't have that passing ability to find you. But when certain players are on the ball, you will make them runs because they can find you. It's natural. But when Kane does drop deep, there is a vocal point and a void that does need to be filled, Jack. And it wasn't being filled under Nuno. He didn't have the tactics to fill that space. Like, how many times under Nuno was Kane dropping deep or coming out and creating? And we were sitting there arguing, going, he can't be the creator and the finisher. What do we want him to do, one or the other? Because there was just nobody in the box. We were struggling to get shots on target, create chances, purely because of that. But since Conte has been in, he's told Son to pick up that space, and that then provides the outlet. And he has done that to perfection, Jack. The timing of his runs, the clinical nature when he is in front of goal as well has been absolutely world class. But when Son drifts inside to fill that vocal point, the left wing back has to bomb forward and provide that width, the overlap, drag defenders with you. And like you said last week, Jack, just keep the opposition backline honest. And what it actually does is it pulls the backline out of position. They don't know whether to follow Son or Doherty, to be honest. And they get caught out, but that is all down to the timing of Son's runs. If he if he makes them too early, Jack, he doesn't drag the players out of position. I can easily get caught offside. If he makes them too late, the opposition's the the options are just not on, and it is easy to block up. So the timing of the runs made by Son have to be perfect, and they are. It's brilliant play all around. Just when one player moves out of position, another one fills that, and then another one fills that. It's insane. It's crazy tactics. It's good.
I think it's also as well, though, it kind of just relies on kind of, this sort of communication between the two. And maybe it's unspoken sort of communication, I might add, because at any time that Harry Kane does drop deep, Sonny can't be off in his own world, Dave. He can't, just
Yeah.
be kind of thinking about maybe what, he wants to be doing with the ball. He has to realize, oh, with Harry Kane dropping deep, therefore I need to then tuck inside and move in, which kind of just explains then Son average position. He's always, kind of looking ahead. He's kind of maybe just looking always horizontally, kind of across the pitch, Dave, just in case he sees, his partner Harry Kane drop deep. And again, it's really more or less kind of like a striker sort of kind of partnership in a way. I know it looks like a 3-4-3 or a 3-4-2-1 kind of on paper, but I would say more or less, especially with the way they kind of partner up, it's almost like Sonny kind of plays as a second striker, Dave. And it's kind of any sort of moment that Harry Kane, he can pick up the ball from, Bentancur here, Dave. I feel like he can pick up the ball from, even Davies. He'll kind of drift into this sort of space. And what kind of feel like what happens is maybe players like Shelby, maybe they're occupied somewhere else, or, even Shelby, or it could even be like, and we see in kind of when we break down the goals later, it often actually what ends up being dangerous is when a center back of some sort maybe follows Harry Kane. And then what ends up happening is Sonny is probably in some sort of one-on-one situation when maybe getting that run for Harry Kane's pass. And then it's probably just kind of game over for any sort of player as well. But I did see this a lot. And I think what always happens is maybe compared to Jose, Dave, I feel like maybe with Conte, feels like we always have lots of runners. It feels like we always have maybe Doherty making a run. If, let's say, Harry Kane picks up the ball here, we have Decky making a run. Maybe Emerson is keeping the width. Who knows? Maybe his late surging run from Højbjerg. I feel like what also has made it more dangerous recently is that compared to maybe Jose, where it's just that one run that they kind of had to stop, it's actually a lot of players keeping making runs, and especially the fullbacks we all know are the ones that do that.
Yeah, and by doing that, Jack, all you're doing is creating confusion in the opposition backline, and they don't really know who to pick up. And you're dragging them out of positions into areas where they don't want to go. But Harry Kane going backwards, most teams are absolutely delighted with that. But then if you're John Joe Shelby, right, you're sitting there, you're like, well, do I go with him and not give him any time to turn on the ball because I know what he can do, but take the risk of getting turned anyway because Harry Kane is so good? Or do I not go with him and give him time on the ball, and then Harry Kane just picks whatever pass he wants, and he has the ability to do it? So it's absolutely genius. It's completely transformed our attack and play under Conte.
Absolutely, Dave. And anything maybe you want to break down, with this sort of thing, or maybe we could just move on straight, maybe to the goals.
No, just a quick side note, Jack, is look how close Bentancur and Højbjerg are usually together on the pitch. They're always an option for each other. So if one receives the ball, if the pass to forward isn't on, the other one is there just to say, yeah, just pop it to me. It's absolutely brilliant. And I'd say even when you look at the average positions that we brought up, look how close they are together. I mean, for Conte, he must absolutely love that. And he doesn't need them to be too far apart because the back three at the back spreads right out, forming a line across the back. The wing backs then kind of push on and advance into sort of midfield position, ready to get into an attacking position. So then, it means Højbjerg and Bentancur can be close to each other, provide the options. And then they can either pop it out wide or pop it forward. It's genius.
I think plenty of times you'll even see Højbjerg or Bentancur, one of them will drop into, position to help out the center backs in possession in case they're being pressed. But then one of them will occupy that safe space to receive the ball and then turn, receive the ball on the half turn in order to look upfield, which I think Højbjerg and Bentancur can do. But it feels like maybe Bentancur is a bit more responsible for it, or a bit more ideal when in those sort of situations, which I think we're seeing the best of, certainly. But big up to Mick, just became a YouTube member, and we hope to see him Monday as well for the fan show. And he also says, thank you for last night. Can't wait to see Monday. Wow, we're seeing a new one.
I have a feeling this is Dermot. I know it is. I know it's Dermot. I have a feeling.
Could be
Uh,
the 104-year-old, fan who might,
this is the person
mistakenly
he was
see.
supposed to bring to the fan show yesterday.
But he just
Uh,
had to bask in the win, I guess. He just had to bask in the win. Big up,
big
Mick,
up,
though.
Dermot.
Hopefully to see you Monday, my man.
Yeah, big up. uh,
But we
but
do
yeah,
move on.
yeah, we'll move on, Jack. We'll keep cracking on, my man.
Move on to how the goals were scored, everybody. This is the first goal, but actually, just to quickly say, we're not going to show maybe the first goal that was scored, by Ben Davies, basically because it was just a set piece that was, deflected outside the box, was given back to Sonny, who put it in delicious ball for Ben Davies to nod away. So it's kind of something that really doesn't, I feel like, need to be kind of replayed. But the importance of it, and I would say the clutch maybe nature of it from Ben Davies certainly should not be underlooked or undervalued. But this is that Matt Doherty goal that we're kind of taking a look at. And it did start with a really atrocious pass, so the kind of switch of play from Fabian Schär. Kulusevski himself even looked surprised that was going right towards him. He kind of receives it, finds Harry Kane, who is able to kind of lose the mark of Dan Burn. Harry Kane picks it up in a bit of space here. What Harry Kane does, and he even can do it in the final third. He can do it in this position behind the halfway line, Dave. He'll pick up the ball. He'll basically just run away almost in a sort of way from, his marker. And then the marker will be confused, whether to follow him, whether to, basically abandon his line. And, they kind of get caught in that sort of limbo kind of area. And then Harry Kane just drops back a bit. And then he puts in that pass that almost looks like it's attention for Son. Could have been, but it also, if you do check out this whole animation, you'll see kind of the late run, maybe made by Matt Doherty as well, that Manquillo doesn't see. But what about this goal, Dave? Do you think maybe is kind of a theme of what we've been seeing with Spurs? And what about it do you think is maybe different?
I think, look, the timing of it, first of all, Jack, was absolutely of importance. It did come immediately after break, and it completely turned the game on its head, to be honest with you. And it was a great diving header from Matt Doherty from Harry Kane's cross, which was absolutely beautiful. But if you look where Son is for that goal, again, it goes back to what we're speaking about, Jack, occupying that space. Kane is the one crossing the ball, but Son is the one in the middle. And look, he puts his foot out, couldn't get on the end of it. But if you look actually for that goal with Matt Doherty, he does exactly what we're talking about. The left wing back picks up and creates that overlap and run, that extra option towards the back post. And he got his rewards. And the whole time as well, he was screaming for it. He had his hands up, running in to get it. And it's just an absolutely brilliant all-round goal, Jack. It's an absolute beautiful ball in. Matt Doherty he's offering what Sergio Reguilon is offering out at left wing back. It's a beautiful ball in, and it just you look at the tactics, look at the amount of people we have in the box. Son's there to get on the end of it. If he misses it, Doherty's there to get on the end of it, and Doherty's not caught ball watching either. He follows the cross in, he gambles, and he gets his reward, and I'm absolutely buzzing for him.
Yeah, absolutely buzzing for him. And maybe a bit lucky, probably the second goal. But to be fair, like Fabian Schär took a lot of risks, I feel like, that night on the ball. And Kulusevski was just lucky enough to receive it and know what to do. Give it to Big H. Big H will then know what to do with the rest of it. But we move on to the next goal, which I do believe was that Sonny goal. And this one, again, was actually just a bit of a counterattack. I feel like every time, maybe what kept happening, Dave, is Dan Burn just was getting kind of pulled and dragged all over the place. It felt like that game.
Yeah.
It was kind of a bit of pressure, I believe, from the Newcastle team. What I think happened was Højbjerg was kind of dribbling it out of a bit of pressure here. He actually finds kind of a slip pass into the likes of Decky, and then he plays a 1-2 with Harry Kane. What's funny is that on Stats with Jack Davis, we did a very similar animation, but it was more or less, I think, Decky kind of doing this 1-2 with the likes of Doherty, and then Doherty was able to carry it forward, then play it back to Decky, but more or less actually a similar principle here. But Decky, I think that touch, if I remember, Dave, from that Harry Kane pass that he took was absolutely sensational because it took Dan Burn as well as I believe Matt Targett out of the game. He took a left-footed touch with the outside of his boot, touched it right to kind of the edge of the 18 here, and then crossed it with his right foot into Sonny. But the same thing that we see here again, Dave, is when Harry Kane even received that ball, Sonny was actually running towards the middle. If you actually check on the replay of it for the goal, he's filling in as kind of the striker through the middle, as we're going to probably say 1,000 times until we're blue in the face. But that's also, again, maybe why he even finished it in the middle of the box, Dave, because he was already making that run actually in the beginning anyways. in order to receive that pass from Harry Kane. So the whole reason why Sonny's even open in the first place in the middle of the 6-yard box is because he makes that initial very, very clever run to receive it from Harry Kane, just doesn't receive it, but continues to make that run in order to receive the pass from Kulusevski.
Yeah, and look, but by the time this goal, Jack, went in, we had them absolutely rattled, lad. And look, it was an absolute clinical finish by Son. But even if you look at the build up to this goal, Højbjerg could play Kane. Kane wasn't on, so he plays it to Kulu, who then plays it back to Kane. And and then it just completely opens up the pitch. Kane can play whoever he wants through here, Jack. He can play Doherty, he knows who's running. He can play Son or he can play Kulu. But the reason why he didn't play Son on this cross, Jack, is purely because when Son made the original run, he strayed offside. Now, Harry Kane had the awareness and seen that, and that's why he picked Kulu out. And by picking Kulusevski out, he actually then gave Son a chance to get back onside. And he knew once he picked Kulu out, Son was so free in the middle anyway that all it took was just a good pass from Kulu to put into Sonny, and we were one-on-one with the goalkeeper. And it's exactly what happened. And I just think it's absolutely brilliant. The fact that you look at Harry Kane's position where he is, and that he could see Son was offside. And then in a split second, and we're talking about split seconds here, to register all of that, Son's offside, play Kulu, which means then Son can be back onside, and then all he has to do is put it in, and we're scoring. That's all split second stuff in the brain. That is absolutely incredible. And to be fair, Jack, it's clinical by Sonny. It's in an important part of the game where we need that third goal to absolutely kill that game. And it's an absolute clinical finish. And he's getting ice cool in front of goals. He's getting comfortable taking up that striker position. And again, like I don't want to go into it because you already highlighted, but look at him taking up that position. And then also look where Doherty is. If Son didn't take that touch and put it in, Doherty was there to take a touch and put it in with his right foot as well. And again, it's just the overloads in the box. The left wing back coming in to fill where Sonny was. Son coming in to fill the void that Harry Kane leaves. But on this goal, the split-second decision Harry Kane makes to play Kulu because he knows Son is offside, and then which then puts Son back onside by playing Kulu. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, I think there were probably two unbelievable touches, in that sequence. That first touch, from Kulusevski, when he receives that Harry Kane pass, just takes so many players out of the game. And again, maybe like Sean said, a bit more deceptively, quicker than he looks. Not the quickest guy by any means, Kulusevski, but that touch, maybe showed that he's a bit quicker than he looks. That touch was unbelievable. And then Sonny's touch to receive it on the left foot and then finish with the left foot was also just absolutely world class as well. It felt like, there was probably no sound even made by his boot, once he touched it. It was that incredible. So I would say a beautiful goal from the boys there. A beautiful goal.
Yeah, and as well, just worth noting that it was a right-footed cross from Kulusevski. We were all like, Sean asked the question, and rightly so, by the way, does Kulusevski have a right foot? And he showed that he can use it. He can use it. But
sure,
again, I think the biggest one you can take from that is, look, Kulu's link-up play and Kane knowing that Son was offside on the original run, and then to play Kulu to keep Son onside. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I believe actually weak foot from both the players. Yeah, Kulu right foot, Sonny left foot. Yeah, from both of the players. Very, very good. Like I said, Dave, it was kind of one of those goals. Like I said, only the father would dream of. To see something that's just absolutely fundamental.
And if anyone thinks I'm talking shite when I say about Harry Kane keeping Son on side by playing Kulu, go and watch the goal. Go and watch the replay of the goal. You will exactly see what I'm talking about.
Tottenham Dandrum Gold saying, I have to say Harry Kane will become that Glenn Hoddle type player as he gets older. We can get top 3 and beat the Gunners. Or beat the Gooners. I've not felt this excited since 1980s. Maybe a team to match the Super Spurs.
Look,
hard to say whether this team is that special. Near the 80s. I don't know about that yet.
No, look, the team's not that special. Look, we're all excited because of the shit we've had to watch over the last 2 years.
He's not felt this excited. That's what it is. No. He's not felt this excited since then. Yeah.
And the thing is, look, you can't help, whether people like to admit it or not, Paratici has done a good job. You look at the January signings; they completely transformed this team. It's not bad for 2 rejects and a guy who couldn't get any transfers in and went back to his old club just to save face. It's not bad whatsoever. It's completely transformed this team. You look at the manager we've got, Antonio Conte. He's an elite winner. 7 trophies in the last few years. In the last couple of years, he's an absolute elite winner. You look at some of the players we have: Kane in his prime, Son in his prime. You've got Kulu, the young gun who wants to be as good as them. You've got Bentancur and Højbjerg, who are middle 20s, who will form a very good partnership going forward. You've got Romero, a world-class defender at the back. You know, a couple more signings in and around them, and then giving yourself, which will then give yourself more options from the bench as well. It means you can rotate the squad, which we haven't been able to do, which is why you've seen us lose to likes of Middlesbrough and teams like that through tiredness. There's special things happening here, but it's only going to be special next season if they give Paratici money to spend and he spends it correctly.
No, agreed, Dave. Agreed, Dave. Maybe the other thing I would say is Dermot, the way he could become that sort of Glenn Hoddle player is perhaps in the future. Maybe Harry Kane, he goes into the Serie A or something like that at like 35 and, you know, kind of joins like a Milan or, you know, an Inter or something. And then it's just, you know, getting absolute dimes, you know, across, you know, the league, you know, gets like 12 assists, 10 goals, you know, just, you know, for a living in that league. I could see that happening. I could see him just being the absolute best passer. He's already basically one of the best passers in the world, but I could see him absolutely unleashing in a league like the Serie A, especially when he gets a bit older, where it seems like strikers, when they reach that kind of retirement age, you know, find a few extra years over in the Serie A as well. But big up Dermot, my man.
Big up, Dermot. Really do appreciate the support, my man. It's so generous. And I hope everybody is liking the stream. And if you are, keep smashing that like button, guys. It's a massive help to us and it's free. But big up, Dermot. Really appreciate the donation, my man.
The next one here is basically just the Emerson goal, which I'm not really sure, you know, how much we really break down of it because it's kind of, you know, just a bit of, you know, kind of overload from the likes of Kulusevski and Doherty. I think Kulusevski cuts inside into the middle of the third and then is able to find Sonny. Sonny then just plays it over to Doherty. Kulusevski continues his run, is able to kind of, you know, match Doherty, make things a bit complicated for Jacob Murphy, plays a 1-2 with Kulusevski. Kulusevski plays him inside. Matt Doherty has a beautiful little touch inside with the outside foot. And then I guess sort of the ball gets deflected and it doesn't count as an assist to an Emerson cross or an Emerson headered into the back of the net. I actually thought it was an assist. I'm kind of a bit surprised it wasn't given to Doherty.
That's bull crap.
Yeah, Dave, it doesn't make much sense to me, to be fair.
It's bullcrap. That's an assist all day long, Jack. Honestly, I'm not having that. That's absolutely ridiculous. But with this goal, Jack, there is a couple of little things that I want to pick out from this goal. So this one came right on the hour mark, actually, when Emerson, he did pull call from close range while being held onto, may I add, following an excellent cross and link-up play between Kulu and Doherty. This time, Kane actually does take up the middle. And if you look where Sonny is, he's kind of on the edge of the box. He kind of takes up that creator role. I think by this time, Kane wants his goal, to be honest with you. He's jealous of Sonny. But Doherty pulls it back to get a better crossing position on his right foot. And Kane and Emerson, if you look, right, they're both in the middle. Now, obviously, Emerson is drifting out from the right-hand side. But at one stage, they both find themselves kind of in the middle on top of each other. And this move is straight off the training ground. It's straight off the training ground from under fives right up to senior level in Sunday League. When you get 2 players in the box and they're in the middle, you always ask them to split. You ask one to go near post, one to go far post. And that's exactly what they've done. And this time round, Emerson got the look. If you look at Kane, he made his move a little bit earlier than Emerson. He made his move kind of before Doherty chopped back. But then as soon as Doherty chopped back, Kane got himself back on side. Emerson made the run towards the front post. But also on the build-up to this game, Jack, or to this goal, Kulu actually did pick up the ball originally on sort of like the right middle of the pitch. And what he did do then is he kind of ran it over towards the left-hand side of the pitch. In the meantime, playing the ball to Sonny, and then Sonny played it out to Doherty. But Kulu carried on running, on moving over towards the left-hand side. And in his brain, he's thinking, okay, can I be an option? How can I affect the game? And exactly. It's unselfish. It's unselfish to make himself that option. And he plays that 1-2 with Doherty. And like we highlighted in the goal before, with Kulu getting the ball, playing it back to Kane, and then receiving it again once he runs in. It just goes to show how crucial Kulu was in some of these goals, and maybe didn't get the respect he deserved from that game.
Yeah, and I think when we break down the stats later with Kulu, it actually will show that because the stats did show he in fact was the most creative player on the day, when it came to just the
Mm.
stats alone, which I think exactly just, points to what you were saying. And, making this little run here, to help out Doherty in order to basically make this whole goal happen is probably, a bit undervalued, maybe even a bit undernoticed, you could say, from Kulusevski. And it's very unselfish work. It's also very intelligent work. He doesn't kind of just walk off, maybe down the middle of the pitch once he kind of feels like he can, give it off to
Mm.
Sonny. He continues to work and he continues to show a bit of support to Doherty, which is exactly what the team needed and only was probably the real reason why we got that fourth goal. The other thing I just quickly wanted to touch on is just the fact that Emerson is making those kind of late runs into the back post. I think Doherty is doing them as well. But if Emerson is going to maybe find any success at wingback, I could see him maybe scoring maybe those, Dave, as kind of those, back post sort of headers, those back post sort of, maybe tap-ins because he is, a bit stronger than the average fullback. He is actually a bit, maybe better in the
Mm.
air, I could say. He is also a bit savvier, maybe could kind of fight for it a bit better than most. So I could see him, maybe getting a few goals at the back post if he were to stick around over at Spurs, and that's where I could see him maybe getting the goals as a wing back if he is
Yeah,
to get it. If he is to get any goals at all, if he is, that's how I see
no,
him doing
look, Jack. He's got two this season. He's getting goals, lad. But look,
it.
if you think about it, like you're correct, he is a big lad. He is good in the air. If he does get the opportunity to play, and the ball is out on the left hand side, get runs into the box. But to be fair to the guy, he was doing it yesterday. At a couple of points, Hoiberg tried clipping it in behind for him and stuff like that. But it's just he got his reward when the ball was out on the left in the cross position. Doherty was in. He made that run into the box. But just bring it up there again, just quickly there, Jacko. Um, and look, when you see here, we'll just wait until it gets to Doherty. You look at Emerson, right? Follow Emerson. He's here out on the right. Him and Kane, they're in the middle now, and they make a decision. Emerson goes front, Kane goes back post, and that is straight off the training ground from when you're a kid. And it's just mad how in sort of these goals in Premier League and stuff like that, the same basics still apply. One goes front, one goes back. It's
Mm.
brilliant.
Yeah, really good point there. And it's exactly what I saw Harry Kane do, Dave. He drifted towards the back post, for that Doherty kind of in swinger
Yeah.
kind of cross. And then, Emerson kind of continued to make that dart across the six, which Target, had to keep following and made Matt Target really sweat about it, which I think also as well, Dave, it kind of was a foul as well. Probably could have been a penalty if you ask me, if, he didn't even finish it,
Yeah.
Emerson as well.
And as well, Jack, there's nothing worse. I mean, we've seen it as well ourselves as Spurs fans. There's nothing worse when two players go to the back post or two players go to the front post. The fact that you split, you give the crosser two options. So if he does get it near post, there's someone there. If he puts it far post, there's someone there. But there's nothing worse than seeing two players make the same run. It kills. It's an absolute killer. It drives me insane.
Absolutely. Ellie saying Gooners are sliding, Spurs are gliding up to the Champions League with a hang glider, Dave.
Actually, I'd love to do a bit of that. You know that I really would love to do that. But Ellie, I mean, honestly, I'm absolutely loving you. You've been in the chat all day, getting people to put their hands in. I've never seen so many people clapping hands in the chat. It's unbelievable. And look, I think you're gliding at the minute, Ellie. You're so happy. Absolutely love it. Hopefully, you have champagne left over from yesterday.
She's got the orchestra, Dave. She's got the orchestra going. Big up, Ellie.
She probably has all the daughters sitting there enjoying as well a bit of champagne with her. It's brilliant.
Spurs squad with the donation here as well. Big up Spurs squad. Really do appreciate the kind words that you've been putting in the comments as well. They've been putting in the chat, spreading the good vibes as well, and really do appreciate the donations as well, Spurs squad.
Yeah, big up Spurs squad, and I hope you're enjoying the show. Well, you must be if you're putting a donation. I really do appreciate it, my man. Really do appreciate it. You have no idea how much it helps, and no matter how little or how much it is, it all really helps at the end of the day. So big up, my man. And Ben Kaufman is in the building as well. Big up, Benji boy. I hope you're keeping well. I hope your coffee was a success on Sunday, man.
Definitely, he's in the competition. We move on to the fifth and final goal here. Again, kind of nothing really, I would say, that we could really learn from it, except maybe we saw a bit of signs of maybe why Antonio Conte sees Bergwijn as a striker, Davis, because what he really is doing is that more or less what Sonny was doing. He
Yeah,
drifts
it's
towards the
garbage,
middle.
lovely.
He drifts towards the middle and he kind of just, sits on the last man and makes that run in behind. It's kind of exactly the same sort of, movement and exactly the same, kind of player that could thrive doing that. So I don't know, Dave, like maybe that's the thing that we learned from it. It also, when you do look back at the goal, Eric Dyer does get absolutely stuck in
No,
on St. Maximin as well, just sends him to the ground and then is able to give it to Sonny. And then Sonny is, not slow on it at all, very proactive, very quick about it, which is nice to see from Sonny, lays it off to I believe it was over to Lucas, and then
Lucas.
Lucas, just absolute ridiculous first touch to get past Dan Burn. And then I'm going to have the faith that he did,
Yeah.
intentionally mag Lascelles to play him through. But maybe Dave, the thing to be learned here is that Bergwijn more or less just making the same exact movement that, kind of Sonny does.
Yeah, look, I'm going to start on Bergwijn, but I'm not letting you away with that bias towards Lucas, Jack. I'm not having it. Look, with Bergwijn's run, Jack, when that defender makes that lunge out, Bergwijn, it's very easy with the position he was in to stray offside or be offside, but he backed himself. He backed his pace, and he knew. And the confidence that's in him, he knew he's going to back his pace. Once that ball's played in behind, he's going to back his pace to get onto it. And the fact that he stayed on side, stayed on the last shoulder defender and just waited patiently. And he got his reward. And once he went through, well, I mean, it's ice Bergwijn, Jacko. He just clinically put away. And just like you said, credit to Dyer. Look, Newcastle put 1-4, tried to play it into the forward line, couldn't hold it up. Dyer got stuck in, won the ball back and drove us forward. And what I did like is even when Lucas or Sonny did, was it Sonny, I think, picked up the ball first. Even when Sonny did pick up the ball, Dyer still carried on running forward. And I absolutely love to see that. And just goes back to show that, these players, the overloads they're doing, how quickly they're winning to burst forward out of shape. It's absolutely unbelievable. But Jack, on this one, I have to say, I'll be honest with you. Look, Lucas did not want Bergwijn to score yesterday, because the more Bergwijn scores coming off the bench, the more he's going to be the first one brought off the bench than Lucas. And Lucas does not want that. You look at Lucas, he bet one player. He could have played Bergwijn in. He didn't. He tried to beat the second player, tried to nuts him. He would have actually got on to the end of it, but he was taken out. So Bergwijn was like, well, you greedy little fucker, thank you very much. I'll take that, and I'll go and put it in. But Lucas should have played Bergwijn in. That was very selfish.
Interesting, Dave. Interesting.
It was.
I don't know, Dave. Like, it just feels like, maybe he just toe poked it, through Lascelles' legs, in order to, put it through, Dave.
No, look, no, he didn't, Jack. He didn't mean it. Look, he toe poked it through his legs, backing his pace and his momentum to be able to get onto it and score a wonder goal. But Bergwijn just sat there patiently. He was like, "You greedy little fucker, thank you very much." Because he was taken out, he couldn't get onto it. And Phil P, that's our tactics sport. I hope you're enjoying it, my man. Hope you're enjoying it.
Big up, Phil P, my man. Big up. But I guess move on maybe to the bit of the stats here. I'm just going to try to create the poll to see who maybe everybody thought the man of the match was. But this one I think is going to be interesting here for sure. But just on Sonny, just trying to get up the poll just quickly, everybody. Sorry.
So look, Jack's just going to put up a poll in the thing. We're going to solve this once and for all. I know Pottermac's in the chat, so I know where one vote is going straight away. But we're going to sort this out once and for all. It's your final say on who is man of the match for the game. We've put up 4 players, and we'll wait and see what the story is. Look, when we do get into Sonny, I'm going to let Jack take away the stats first. But when we do get into it, Pottermac, just put your fingers in your ears. I went back and looked at that free kick that he gave away yesterday, and I'm sorry to say, I still stand by my decision that he didn't need to make the tackle. When I looked at it again, right, Højbjerg was in front of Willock. Sonny was behind him and put his foot around to try and dislodge the ball. Now, credit to him, but he didn't need to make the tackle, especially from behind on the edge of his own box. Højbjerg was out at Willock to deal with it, and he didn't need to do it, but he atoned from his error, and that's what I wanted. But just so that part of Mac, when I do get into it, he doesn't kill me.
Definitely, definitely. But the poll is up, everybody. So let's see how it does. Let's see how it does. But stats for Sonny in this one, he had 1 goal and 1 assist in this match. So those are the 2 goal contributions that he did have. Shot creating actions, which is more or less a kind of another way of maybe saying like a chance created. 6 chances created. Goal creating actions, 2 goal creating actions from Sonny. Carries into the penalty area, something that Sonny always dominates in, with 5 carries into the penalty area. Touches in the attacking penalty area. He had the most in the entire squad with 8. Another symbol of kind of Sonny again, more or less basically just being kind of the striker, even though we kind of think of him as a left winger. He had the most touches in the attacking penalty area. Key passes completed with 5. I believe that was the most key passes completed, I think, of any player as well. And a key pass is something that kind of leads to some sort of chance or some sort of creation of a threat against the opposition goal. But with these stats from Sonny, I would say, a lot of them, they weren't really the best in the whole squad. Some of them were the best in the whole squad. But again, another very clinical performance from Sonny. But when you really look at it, it's kind of a lot of it. It's kind of just what a striker would kind of have, which is, again, what we're going to have to continue to kind of say until we get blue in the face. It feels like Sonny is more or less playing as like a second striker. And that's what I think the stats are going to reflect here.
No, 100%. Just quickly, Derek Smith isn't happy, no Doherty. Look, you can blame Jack on that one. I gave Jack full license to pick the 4 players today so that I could stay out of it, so it wasn't biased. So you can blame Jack on that one, Derek.
I wanted to throw Ben Davies in there. Don't get me wrong, Derek. I love it, though. I love it.
Spurs Squad says that Super Chat was just appreciation of your production. Great work, lads. Well, my man, I really do appreciate that. Top guy. Ellie says, Seattle Jack and Ireland's #1, always bringing us the stats and facts with a smile. Of both delivers us all the match analysis so entertainingly and always gives us a belly full of laughs along the way. Big up, Ellie. That's such a wonderful comment, such kind words. You're an absolute true lady. You really did enjoy that West Ham game with you. I'll always have that memory. So thank you very much. I'll always have that memory of being there at the West Ham game. The West Ham get barred everywhere they go. I'll always have that memory. So you're an absolute top lady. Thank you so much. And Dark Song G says Maximan went MIA after his collision with Bentancur or with Bentaclass. Yeah, look, it wasn't. Look, Romero roughed him up straight away. Newcastle put a long ball up to our right-hand side. He was playing around with Emerson for a minute, and then Romero just said, enough of that, and went over and absolutely clattered him. But then not so long
absolutely
after.
Absolutely clattered him. Just sent him to the weight room. Just he was looking at stars. St. Maximin was, you could tell. Needed probably about 3 or 4 minutes, it looked like, to even get off the pitch. And again, something that we were quite surprised to see with the referee only putting 2 minutes of added time or 2 minutes of injury time in that one. I just didn't make sense to me, Dave. The fact that Maximin spent that long on the pitch. There's that little scuffle as well, towards the end of the half. Plenty of other occasions where I thought there's a bit of, kind of time, being wasted.
Yeah.
A bit shocking, I must say. Bentancur, though, showing what the Maximin, the grass tastes like. Always nice to see.
I'm not going to lie. Them sort of challenges, I know it's bad to say, but they really get me excited. They really get me excited, and I love to see it because I'm used to watching like old style football where men just kick the living crap out of each other, and I absolutely loved it. Honestly, sent Saint Maximin's soul to Mars. It was absolutely brilliant. Like Jack said, he was seeing stars. He was probably seeing Gucci belts and everything. It was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he was on the ground, soulless. He was lifeless. His spirit left his body. And I mean, I absolutely love to see it. I knew Bentancur could tackle, but I mean, I didn't realize he had that in him.
I didn't know he had the force
I
behind him.
absolutely loved it. I can't deny it. I loved it.
Pick up, Dark Sun G. There you are, my man. That's what Dave had to think about it, my man. That's what Dave had to think about. That's why he went MIA. But there are the Sonny stats, everybody. Especially, just to put a bit of context into his really good performance. Go on to Harry Kane. 1 assist on the day. Shot creating actions. He had 7, tied for the most shot creating actions. 2 goal creating actions. 3 switches of play. I believe it was tied for the most switches of play. 4 carries into the final third from Big H, and then 5 passes completed. And I think that was actually the same amount as Sonny's 5 passes completed as well. But Dave, again, just another display of Harry Kane being more the provider than really being, the goal scorer.
Jack, all the stats you lifted off there just show that he is now the chief creator. He's at the heart of most things going forward. These stats reflect that. The great ball in for a second goal for Doherty. He drops deep to get the ball in behind for Kulu for the third goal. And actually, after that third goal, he actually put another glorious ball over the top. He could have played Højbjerg, but opted for Son, who made another run behind Højbjerg. And so, by the time it landed at Sonny's feet, he was in the box. And look, on another day, Sonny would have scored it, but I'm not going to. We were already 3-1 up, so it didn't really bother me, but he probably should have scored. And look, Emerson's goal as well. He was in and around the box. And look, for me, Jack, all them stats there just show his creative side and how creative he was all afternoon, to be honest with you. Shot creating action, 7. 7 out of, what was it, 19? 7 out of 19 shots on goal or something like that, I think it was. I'll get it there now. You know what I mean? It's like creating 7 of them himself. That's absolutely unbelievable. And like I said, that pass for Kulu to keep Son on side, switches of play, opening up the whole pitch, key passes completed, which is passes going forward and stuff like that. It's, look, absolutely incredible performance. And just quickly to have my say on Sonny as well. Look, like I said, he did give away the free kick and there was no need for it because Højbjerg was in front of the player. But look, at the end of the day, Jack, I just remember myself being furious during the game with it. I'm like, these are the silly things that we need to cut out. Now, don't get me wrong, Hugo Lloris should have saved that free kick. Like, he really should have saved it. But I asked Son to atone the error, and Jack, I mean, he done it and more. He got 1 goal, 1 assist. He was a willing runner all game long, on the ball or off the ball, and he got his reward. He showed great composure. Like I said, in a pivotal point of the game, he got the third goal, which killed it. And look, the guy's absolutely incredible. Him and Kane, look, I don't want to see anyone else arguing, who's better, this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, we've just got to take stock and realize we've got 2 world-class players in their prime, both 1 year apart from each other. And we need both of them, and they both need each other to be able to keep doing what they're doing as well in terms of numbers.
Absolutely, Dave. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Going on to Kulusevski, who actually, with the stats, everybody, was actually the most creative player on the day. I believe he had 1 assist, 7 shot-creating actions, 3 goal-creating actions. So he was tied with Kane for the most shot-creating actions, but he did have the most goal-creating actions. Sonny had 2, Kane had 2, but Kulusevski had 3. Passes into the penalty area, 6. He had the most passes completed into the penalty area. He had the most progressive passes, I think, of any player as well, with 9. And he had the most, and he also had 4 key passes completed. Kulusevski on the day, everybody, was probably one of the most creative players. He is just, I don't know, he's just intelligent. He's just clever. He's smooth. He's silky. Every single time he cuts in, every single touch he makes, he seems to never really have a bad touch. To be honest, whenever you see him receive it. But yeah, Dave, really creative day from Kulusevski.
Look, since this guy's come in, right, since the turn of the county year, Spurs have scored the most goals. So in 2022 so far, Spurs have scored the most goals with 30. Now, a lot of them, forget January. A lot of January was probably a bit of a write-off and some of February as well, in terms of some of the games we played now. But since Kulu has come into the team, most of them goals have happened. And look, it's just credit to what the guy has done. You look at the performance he put in yesterday, Jack, the involvement he had to come over from the right-hand side to the left-hand side to do the 1-2 for Emerson's goal. The way he picked up the ball, played it straight back to Kane. He already knew, just give it to Kane and run, turn and run. And that's, again, I was talking earlier about Son and Kulu trusting Kane and Kane having the best passing ability out of the front 3, and that's why he drops deep. And the reason why they keep making them runs is because they know Kane will find them. But look at Kulu, perfect example. Ball back to Kane, turns, spins, he's gone in behind, and Kane finds him, puts it on a plate for him. For me, William runner all day, holds up the ball great, very influential, loves cutting inside, but like we've seen, he can also go straight down on the right-hand side and put a ball across. Absolutely magnificent. I think he was one of them underrated players coming out of yesterday's game, or out of Sunday's game. A lot of people were talking about Kane, Son, Romero, Bentancur, and rightly so, Davies, Doherty, rightly so. Everybody was superb, but not as many plaudits for Kulu. But when you go back in and you watch the game and you reanalyze the game, Jack, you actually realize how much of an involvement he has in that front 3 and in the play. You look at the goal creating actions 3, shot creating actions another 7. passes into the penalty area, which is crucial, by the way, because they're not the most easiest things to do.
No,
Passes into the
it's not
penalty
a
area.
cross either
Players,
into the penalty area,
no,
Dave. It's like, a flat ball, on the floor completed into the
yeah.
penalty area.
But like when you've got your players and the opposition players in there, it's very, very crowded. So to be able to get them balls in there as well, that's brilliant. And it just goes to, and that's what we need. We don't want players passing it sideways, backwards, rotating. When you're on the break and you're in them areas, you want players putting the ball into the penalty area. That's where you will score most of your goals, and that's what he does. And just to top it off, can the guy carry the ball? Well, there's your answer, 9 of them.
Absolutely, Dave. Absolutely. Let's move on to the last and final person that we probably consider to be one of the best players on the pitch in the day. Romero, most tackles and interceptions with 7, most pressures, I believe, with 15, most successful pressures with 5, most tackles won with 4, most long passes completed with 11, and then I believe close to, or if not, pretty high up there on passes completed under pressure as well. So Dave, he loves inviting the pressure even when he's on the ball. He loves bringing the pressure when he's off the ball. Cuti Romero, I think we're just going to continue to see stats like these, every game, and we're probably just going to get used to it. But I think the hilarious thing is he seems to enjoy, making, things happen off the ball as well as happening, whenever he is on the ball. The most long passes completed, trying to open play up a bit more. Most passes completed under pressure. He's waiting, for his opponent, to kind of bring a bit of pressure on him so he can, open things up. He's not only good off the ball, he's good on the ball as well.
And look, Jack, this is the big difference between him and Sanchez. Look, when we had Sanchez in there alongside Davies and Dyer, look how ropey our backline was. We were just being opened up. Teams were just coming at us, peppering us. When Romero's in there with the tackles and interceptions, pressures made, successful pressures, most tackles won, that doesn't happen. And the reason why it doesn't happen is because he's proactive. Rather than let a player run at him and keep dropping off, because he's not. The reason why players sometimes will drop off. Look, an element to it sometimes is good defending. You drop off and wait for your time, wait for the attacking player to hit the ball too far ahead of themselves, and then you make your move to cut in. When you see a player and you see players like Winston Sanchez, which was what's happening under Nuno when they had to come in, and under previous managers, Jose and Conte as well, when he's had to play them, they keep dropping off. And that's because they're not confident in their own ability. They don't trust themselves to be able to make that tackle. In the back of their mind, they're always thinking, if I lunge in or make this tackle, this guy's going to skin me. With Romero, that doesn't happen. Romero's so confident in his ability. He's proactive. He gets up the arse. Look, he was fed up of watching Maximum straight away. Fed up of watching St. Maximum dance around with the ball in the right. He's like, I'm not having that. I'm just going to go over and clatter him. St. Maximum wasn't the same player all game. What did he do in the West Ham game? He completely took Antonio out of the game. Antonio didn't want the battle. The first long ball, Newcastle pumped long from tip-off. Romero wins that header straight away. You're not having any joy here today, son. And it puts doubts in the opponent's head as the game goes along. And then, not only that, but the guy's unbelievable on the ball. And with him being so good on the ball, right, take yourself back to Sanchez. We would get the ball, you go and try and play it to Dyer or Davies or Sanchez. It'd be rotated out to the wing backs, into wings, back to the centre backs. And with Sanchez, ultimately, because he was so crap on the ball, he'd pump it long or he'd put it to Dyer under pressure who had no option but to pump it long. But with Romero, he doesn't need to do that. You can give it to him. He can get out of trouble like you've seen against West Ham. Took 3 attacking players out of the game in his own corner. And, he's just so good on the ball. And he's so good at picking passes and he can run forward. And that's why you ultimately see a lot of times him breaking out the back jack and wandering in around them 4 positions and hanging around. Because he's confident in his ability on the ball. He's absolutely magnificent. And anyone that doesn't like this defender, I'm sorry, I don't understand why.
He's simply becoming probably one of the best players of his age group, maybe in the world, I must add. But lessons learned, Dave, a section that we kind of like to wrap up on. So everybody, do give me your lessons learned in the comments as well for this game, because this is basically the area where we kind of just summarize, kind of just look at the rest of, maybe what we kind of have been talking about this whole time with the Newcastle performance, and then kind of move on from it, you could say. But goals coming from the whole team. with this kind of point of emphasis here, we're kind of just saying that, this was a game again where you don't really need to rely on Sonny and Harry Kane to get the goals for us. You can actually predict other goal scorers. Maybe you can predict, a late back post run from Matt Doherty to score. Maybe you can predict Kulusevski to score. Who knows? Højbjerg Bentancur could pop up with one. Maybe an Eric Dyer free kick, for Moondog. It just feels like there are a lot of different scorers that have been happening a bit more recently, which is exactly what we want to see. And Bottom Duda, who's kind of our Serie A expert in the comments a lot as well,
Yeah.
has said that that is kind of a huge asset and a huge feature of Antonio Conte's squads are a lot of different scorers. He doesn't really seem to rely on two scorers. He likes to see a lot of different players score. Another kind of lesson learned was Spurs know what to do when they do go down. And Dave, this was actually the case under Nuno as well. I actually remember fondly enough. Maybe not fondly, but funny enough. But yeah, Dave, so far this season, Spurs are in fact been the best team when going a goal down or when, kind of going from a losing position.
Mm.
Spurs have actually been one of the best teams this season, in fact. And I can't really explain it because it feels like that would not really be the case for a team like ours. But we've actually found it quite quite easier than others actually to be able to make comebacks.
Yeah, and it just goes to show Conte instilling that winning mentality, and the players never say die belief attitude. I mean, even you look at Leicester, everyone else thought the game was over by the players, and we nicked the win. How many late winners have we got this year? How many late goals have we got? I mean, it's just a reflection of the guys never ever giving up, Jack. Never ever giving up, and like you said, picking up 14 points from losing positions in the Premier League this season, most of any other side. And it's absolutely amazing, and the fact that we have the most goals in 2022 is also helping this, because
Mm.
like I said earlier, even if we with the chances we create, you look at West Ham, it was 17-6. You look at Newcastle, it was like 19-8. We're creating more chances than the opposition, which then gives us a chance to win every single game, even if you do go one behind, because you're creating double. You're creating so many chances, you can win the game. You can outscore the opponent, and it's a big help. But in terms of as well, just what you were saying about goals coming from the whole team, Jack, that's Doherty, Davies, Emerson, Session, Kulu, Sanchez has a few this season, Højbjerg. There's goals right throughout this team. It's absolutely quality. Reguilon, another player who has a goal or two, despite some of his deficiencies in the final third. So we're not just Kane and Son FC anymore either.
No, absolutely not. And would you say just quickly, Dave, this sort of confidence, that maybe the team seems to have actually when they go a goal down, does it kind of give you a bit of confidence? Let's say if we were to go a goal down to a team, let's say this upcoming weekend, let's say Villa maybe pull off a goal, right away. Would you still be confident that they could pull off a result?
I would. Look. Every team is a different sort of obstacle because every team plays differently. Every manager sees how they can get at Tottenham maybe a little bit differently. But look, once we go one down, especially in the first half, I will not write off Tottenham Hotspur anymore, because I know that with the amount of chances we create, that we're creating, and with the quality we have in the final third and the midfield to be able to get the ball up there, you cannot write this Tottenham team off, because you've seen it. Newcastle scored, we went up, scored straight away. But not only that, we scored straight away after half time as well. And look, this actually goes back to a bit under Jose, because to be fair, it happened under Jose quite a few times where we'd go one down and we'd try and reply straight away. And it's just this mentality that's coming into the squad. And I think, look, obviously Conte has a huge part to do with it, but I think some of these players are sick of losing too,
Yeah, I agree.
And just on the goals thing as well, just to put our victory kind of into perspective, Newcastle haven't conceded more than once in any of their last 11 Premier League games before they came to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Whoa, big stat right there, everybody. Big stat right
That's
there.
a heavy hitter. Darks on G, be proud.
William Kelly saying, "Hi boys, box office Kelly is in the house." Good to see that the box office Kelly is in the house, and hopefully as well, nothing is said about your precious Winky today. No Snapchats have come from the Winky, my man. But big up William Kelly, big up brother. Spurs keep winning by big goal margins. Dave, this is something that we've kind of spoke about in the preview. Winning by huge goal margins, the last few occasions. I don't know what it is. It feels like maybe the floodgates have all of a sudden just kind of opened, for the team. And maybe we will actually see a few spankings, by the boys. Perhaps it's just because Harry Kane is, his most creative self. Sonny's, banging in the goals. Kulusevski's, of course, helping. But a lot of other players are, showing up on the goal charts, like we said earlier. But yeah, yet another game where, Spurs are winning by huge goal margins. And then the other kind of stat underneath that
Sorry, Jack,
is that we
just
are the
quickly.
third most informed team in the
Yeah.
Premier League as well.
Yeah, and just to come in off the back of what you were saying there, like, look, myself and Philip, we've had a lot of conversations throughout the year, and we even on stream, and we've always said at some point, at some stage across this season, a couple of teams are going to be on the end of a Spurs hiding, because there's been pent up frustration and anger in that team, in the players of like Kane and Son, maybe not getting the numbers that they should have earlier on in the season. And what you're seeing now is an accumulation of that, and them just exploding now, the whole team exploding and really starting to get their numbers up, their goals and their assists, and they all want them as well, and that's been pent up from the season. And like me and Philip were saying, it was always going to happen, and now you're seeing the effects of it.
Absolutely. And then the last little element of it there was just that we are, been one of the best teams, of 2022. And then also, maybe part of this success has been because Sonny has been playing through the middle for us. And I think we're just going to continue to do that until it stops happening, until we start seeing Sonny just camped and positioned out wide out on the left wing. I think maybe then we'll bring it up. But Sonny, everybody, he's almost playing like a second striker. But that is the end of the show, Dave. We do have every kind of element wrapped up. I'm really liking this series that you've come up with here. But what are we looking forward to maybe for the rest of the week here, Dave?
Yeah, well, for the rest of the week, tomorrow we have, I think it's a Kaniki Answer Me. Thursday, we're going to do Stats with Jack. As everybody knows, Friday is our day off, but there'll be stuff up in the community section for you to put your opinions on. And then Saturday, we are back with pre-match build-up, the watch-along. And then on Saturday night, then we will have a quiz. And then on Sunday, we will do player ratings. And then Monday, we'll probably do this match breakdown. And then we'll do the fan show. But we'll sort that out. But as far as up as Saturday, that is the content. And look, I really do hope that everybody else has actually really enjoyed this. And just on that last takeaway that you said, Jack, about Son being on our striker, the only thing I'm going to say on that is Kane on paper, when you put the formation out, is our striker. But in reality and in the matches, he's a creator. Son on paper is a creator. But in the matches and in reality, when you look at the tactics and the goals he scored, he's our striker. And hopefully it takes teams a little while to cop onto that going forward. But yeah, look, I hope everybody has enjoyed this content. Let me know if you want to see more of it, what you think me and Jack can add in, or what you think we should take out to make it better for everybody. And look, we've got about 5-10 minutes. Why not throw in a couple of questions for myself and Jack? Anything you've always wanted to ask us, and I'm sure we can get to answer them. But Jack, where can people find you, though, lad?
Over on the second channel, everybody. I guess what's been released recently, Sam Johnston, I guess, might be somebody that might be the backup keeper, next season for Spurs. I will be honest, kind of the reason I do really want everybody to watch that video is just to let me know what you think of Sam Johnston, because it's not really my forte, Dave, to really, criticize or really evaluate keepers. I don't really know what it takes, to be a good goalkeeper. Even when I watch, a full game or a full 90 of a keeper, it's really hard to know like what you really can get out of it. I feel like you have to watch lots of games of it. And with Sam Johnston, just haven't had the opportunity. So I kind of gave the stats, just broke down everything there is to need to know about Sam Johnston. But I am kind of looking for everybody's help on what they think and maybe whether they think that will be a good signing. Lots of times on the channel, Darius and I did say that this would be the free goalkeeper that we would sign as sort of that backup to Lloris. Matches kind of the homegrown kind of sort of status, or at least the English homegrown sort of status. And then as well is kind of exactly probably what Conte is looking for in a backup keeper, somebody that is actually good enough to play in a bit more high profile games. So let me know what you think of the Sam Johnston, and then plenty more stuff to come out on the second channel.
No, do get over there and check that out. And look, Sam Johnston, from what I'm hearing, it's one that probably will happen, and I expect him to be our backup goalkeeper next season by Hugo Lloris. And look, I'm all for that. Look, Joe Hart was the guy that was in the dressing room organising the cricket, etc., etc. A bit probably, like my problem is when you're losing, why are we putting out videos of playing cricket in the dressing room when we should be training? Put what's gone wrong right. And we've got rid of Joe Hart. Galini's come in and filled the void, and it was perfect because, look, I know it hasn't worked out, but the reason why I say it's perfect is because Hugo Lloris wasn't signing a new contract. We didn't know what the story was with him, whether he was going to sign one or not. And we couldn't take the gamble of him not signing one. And then going into a summer window or January transfer window where we know our keeper's leaving and we're going to be extorted for a goalkeeper. We couldn't take that risk. Now, look, Galini's only played 10. The deal was he had to play 20. So the plan is, I think, is we ship him back to Atlanta in the summer and Sam Johnson comes in as number 2. And what he provides is experience. He's an absolute brilliant shot stopper as well. We've seen him for West Brom when he was in the league fighting for them. And I know they got relegated, but he was one of their shining lights. The amount of teams on goal this guy faced. And to be in a team that get relegated and still get picked to go to a European competition as a backup goalkeeper says a lot about this guy. And I actually think he's a good goalkeeper. He's ideal for number 2, to be honest with you. I just want to take this one comment from Sheila Burrows. Says it's hard to get optimistic about a newfound spread of goals across the whole team after one game. In statistics, we call that a huge mistake. And look, 100% I get that. But Sheila, in one game, it's not exactly true because Romero scored against Brighton. Session Doherty scored against Leeds. Sanchez has scored goals this season. Højbjerg has scored goals this season. Look, more so under Conte, you're starting to see them filtered out around the team. But other players are contributing in goals. It hasn't just been one game. It's been over a period of games where players are starting to get involved now. But look, that's just my opinion. But we have
a valid point, Sheila. Always a valid point. But yeah, I think at least more recently, it's been a bit of a mix of goal scorers, if I can recall.
Yeah, no, 100%. Tottenham Tantrum Goal says Super Kane all the way. Absolutely love it. Dermot, never give up faith in the guy. The guy's an absolute genius, my man. Absolute genius. And he says, and in FIFA land, I'm getting battered, guys. Or you're getting better, actually. Sorry, I'm so used to you getting battered, Dermot. So used to you getting battered. No, look, why not? Why not, lad? I'm off to play a bit of Ultimate Team now in a little while as well. Maybe because there's a Brian Hill card I'm after. I have to put in the grind and that to be able to accumulate the FIFA points to be able to buy them. And there's a regular one there as well. So I have to put in the graft. So, as soon as I finish there, I have to go and graft an Ultimate Team. Mrs. won't be happy, but look, has to be done. But big up, Dermot. Really do appreciate the support, my man. And William Kelly here as well says, Lloris is not good enough for us to progress to the next level. Do you know what, William? I think there's definitely a debate and a discussion to be had around that. I do. Look, me personally, I'm just going to tell you where I sit on it. Look, Lloris has been a great servant to this football club. He's restored my faith in goalkeepers. I remember having to watch like Paul or Ian Walker and stuff like that. Lloris has been an excellent servant for Tottenham. Is there a discussion to be had that maybe he's getting past his best? Maybe. But I think we are going to improve the defence in the summer. I think it will get better. And I think, therefore, he'll have less to do. But I do think he needs to up his concentration. But I think there's definitely a discussion to be had around that. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would probably agree with you. Is he getting too old? Is he starting to make too many mistakes for us to be able to go to that next level? And look, ideally, you're looking at the running. You don't want your keeper making mistakes like he did yesterday for that free kick. So there's definitely a discussion to be had. Jack, what's your thoughts?
I feel like with Conte before, he obviously was very successful with Handanovic as the keeper. Handanovic is absolutely ancient and is pretty bad with his feet. And I'm actually quite surprised that, he was able to do pretty well with Handanovic. I kind of figured that guy was going to retire sooner rather than later, which kind of gives me a bit of hope about Lloris. But I do see where William Kelly is coming from because ever since he signed that contract extension, there have been some blunders. And ones that I'm not really feel like I'm used to, or ones that I feel like I don't really see Lloris ever really make, to be honest. And I know a goalkeeper, like they make mistakes and, what Lloris is so good that now that he's making mistakes, we're kind of already, we're noticing them, but I'm going to keep the faith in him, William Kelly, but I definitely see where you're coming from. And it could be a really good debate in the future.
No, look, it's definitely a debate to be had for sure. We'll just take Jimmy Costco says, Stream done. What are we going to do with ourselves now? Play Ultimate Team like me, my man. Play Ultimate Team like me. Potter Mac says, great show. Really appreciate that. Adam William Gale really enjoyed it. He says, big up, lads.
Big
Epic
up, Adam.
show. Adam, I really appreciate that, my man. Big yourself up. We also have Autism says, enjoyed the show. Great people, humble people. Big up. Really appreciate that. Matt Spurs says, every game at home we won by lots of goals. Absolutely love that, my man. Pot Mac also says, the most lethal duo on YouTube.
Big up, Pot
Really
Mac.
appreciate that, my man. George says, are we doing a plan to do a World Cup watch along? Long way off, I know. Look, yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping to do World Cup content plus keep up with Spurs news and still do stuff on Spurs and stuff like that. So look, if it's what the Irish Hotspur people want, we will do World Cup stuff. If it's not, we won't. Just let us know what you would like us to do. Look, I think it'd be a bit of a stretch to try and do absolutely every game.
Yeah.
But we will pick good games that maybe me and Jack think would be the good games to do. And plus, I'm not sure whether we are Tottenham TV will want me to do a couple of watch-alongs for them or not. All right, so look, if the people want it, we'll do it. So let us know in the comments if that's what you want. Phil P says, big up your chest, Jack and Harris. First class, just like the Super Spurs. Top 4 dream, believe and achieve. Absolutely love that.
Love it,
really
Phil.
appreciate it. Bobby K says, Jack, have to admit, I just started watching your stats breakdown and I've been amazed, man. You are a wealth of knowledge. Keep up the great work.
Appreciate it, Bobby K. Really do appreciate it. Not sure which one, which stats breakdown. Maybe the stats of Jack, maybe the flat cap. But regardless, really do appreciate it, Bobby. Really do appreciate it.
No, I really appreciate the kind words, man. RAI says, please can you reply to this question? Romero's 8 yellow cards, but if Romero doesn't get yellow cards for 3 or 4 games, will Premier League erase those yellow cards?
I've always actually wondered this myself, actually, RAI. I don't know the rules to this myself, but it's been on my mind for years. And I actually never bothered to look it up because I don't really know how to ask the question, kind of like yourself here. You know, what happens, you know, if you're one card away from a suspension, how many games do you get to go, you know, until maybe, you know, that suspension, you know, is kind of voided, you know? I'm not sure. Maybe it's like done in certain periods of time. You know, maybe it has nothing to do with the amount of games. Maybe it just has to do with periods of time, like kind of quarters of, you know, the season is when, you know, it gets wiped away. I'm not really sure. Dave, do you know?
Look, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you. I haven't sat down and read that big book of rules. It's getting bigger.
You know what I mean? I feel like it's a question that's probably been on your mind before that actually.
Yeah, I think, look, I don't think they get wiped. I think, look, after the season ends, I think they get wiped, but this season they won't get wiped. And just hopefully, look, if it's the case where he goes on to 9 and a couple of games before the North London Derby, I would ask him probably to take a silly yellow card to get that out of the way, to be honest with you, so that he's back for the North London Derby. But RAA, I don't think they do wipe them, my man, to be honest with you. We also have a guy called Chris Wyans in. He's definitely an upset Arsenal fan. He's in here crying in the chat. You know, tears after yesterday's humbling to Palace. Look, I know your mammy forgot to turn off the internet. It's the first time you're kind of getting a bit giddy. You're up past 11. You're getting a bit giddy. But look, my man, we're no gooners. Don't ever accuse us of being gooners, brother. We absolutely hate you lot. And believe me, we sat there and reveled in your demise yesterday. Absolutely reveled in it. In fact, you know, I whipped out the party poppers, popped the champagne. Me and Jack had a little celebration party before he came on to do yesterday's stream, to be honest with you, my man. We have Andre Smith. He says, good night, lads. Big up, Andre Smith. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Spurs Squad says, he's my winky, my little winky, even when skies are grey. I love that. Absolutely love it. Jimmy Costco says, I still think Lloris is more than good enough to win with us. Imagine trying to replace Lloris in today's market. Chelsea paid 75 million for Kepa. And that's the counter argument, my man. The counter argument, exactly.
Keepers are expensive and not very good at the moment, I would say. Not very good and very expensive keepers.
No, 100%. Dermot says, leave Williams Winky alone. Look, I'm trying to leave him alone till the end of the season.
Because he says I'm starting a Winky campaign, Dave. He's starting to leave my Winky alone campaign.
Yeah, look, I think there's only one person that's saying that, William, and that's me. Look, I can't help it. The guys, look, in a way, I've kind of done my job. Well, Bentancur has kind of, I've put the thing out there, and then Bentancur just kind of put the nail in the coffin, really. Bentancur showed exactly what I've been talking about Harry Winks and stuff like that. And amazingly, since Bentancur's come in, no one's talking about Højbjerg not being able to pass the ball either. It's absolutely brilliant. So until Winky proves otherwise, I'm sorry. But he's just, when he does make appearances, he's got to do well, and that's it at the end of the day. To Bolton do it, my man, never too late, lad. Never too late. We're sitting here, we're going to do a bit of questions for anybody that wants to put them in. Just quickly, Jack, this is up there. I don't want to leave Adrian out. It says, Adrian Rocker says, guys, do you know much about Conrad Leimer? Jack, I think this is probably more up your street.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say somebody that Darius actually really likes and has actually said that maybe we should take a look at. Plays over at Leipzig, kind of a box-to-box sort of midfielder. What I think really I like about Conrad Leimer is that, Dave, he kind of has like the work rate of kind of a Højbjerg. But what I would say is that he's kind of dissimilar to Højbjerg because he's kind of a lot quicker, a lot more agile, kind of gets, around the pitch, a bit better, can make runs in behind. He's really good alongside, I think its name is like Xaver Schlager or whatever, Xaver Schlager, that guy over in the Austrian national team. Really like Conrad Leimer, actually. I think it's not a glamorous signing, but if we're looking for somebody to basically be similar to Skip and Højbjerg, just have more players like that. If that's what Conte wants, is just a bunch of players like that, and Conrad Leimer really fits the bill. I really like him, and I think he's definitely underappreciated for sure.
There you are. Big up Adrian Srocker, our own house resident expert on all things European football. Sheila Burrows. Now, Jack, I don't really get this. It's a bit, probably a bit too, what would I say, intelligent for me, but I'll read it out to you, Jack, and maybe you can make sense of it. Sheila Burrows says, your detailed analysis of the stats on these streams is great. I caution against extrapolating too much from single match stats.
Yeah.
What does that part mean, Jack?
I think she's saying, like that maybe, using stats from just one game alone, it doesn't really tell you too much, or at least you shouldn't allow it to tell you too much. You don't want to read too much into it. I think Sheila's absolutely right. But to be fair, we also do the stats with Jack as well, once a week, where we look at where each player ranks in the entire squad over the entire season. So when we do see players like Romero lead in tackles and interceptions and things like that, it's not a big surprise because he leads, he's like the third highest tackles and interceptions. Same thing if you were to say it with Højbjerg, when it comes to passes into the final third and things like that, Højbjerg just dominates and those sort of things. So we do another stat show, Sheila, where we also look at the players and where they rank across the whole season as well. So I agree. You can't extrapolate too much from one game, but when you do know where they kind of rank in the whole squad, it definitely then puts a bit of context to it.
Big up Sheila. I'm sorry I didn't understand it, but Jack understands it and makes sense of it. He's my guy. The Bolton Duta says, I'm really appreciate the support, man. Says, Paratici going to Serie A to bring in Strakosha or Perrin as our number 2. Chances of Perrin coming in are higher if you can guess what the Don is cooking.
Strakosha, Dave, he's that guy over at Lazio. I did a video over on the second channel for those kind of free transfers that could go under the radar. Strakosha was one of them that I would, that I threw in there, as well as Sam Johnston. When I had the choice of Strakosha and Sam Johnston on a free, I did go for Sam Johnston. I did say that Sam Johnston would be better. As well, Perrin, though, I've seen Perrin actually have good games. And what's funny about Perrin is that he was, in fact, a really good keeper for, I think it was like Genoa or something like that. I think he was a really good keeper for them a while back. And then he just made that weird move to Juventus where he never was going to ever play a game ever again. So I don't really know what happened in that case to Bottom-Duda. But if between Strakosha and Perrin, I think I'd take... That's tough, actually. Strakosha, I don't think is a bad keeper, actually, to be fair. But I would take maybe Perrin, to be outside the box. I guess I'd take Perrin.
No, there you are. The bottom.
I can't tell the Don how to cook. I can't tell the Don how to cook. I can only help the Don clean the mess.
Yeah, no, absolutely love it. And the people coming in with the answer for the yellow card, that question. So if me and Jack don't ever have the answers, other people do, which is absolutely great. The intelligence of the Irish Hotspur Army says, Jack and David, it's 10 yellow cards up to the 32nd Premier League fixture. And King Huddle also says the same. So there you have it, guys. There is the answer on that. We also have Spurs Squad saying Jack Stats is on fire. Patrick Carvignard is off to listen to Who Let the Dogs Out. Conte did. Absolutely love that, KPV. We have a super chat here from Faz Radfire. You heard it here from me first. Arsenal will finish 8th.
Down to Conference League. Down to the Conference League. I love it.
Look, that would be nice, my man. That would be absolutely nice. Down in the Conference League, they can go through what we went through for a year. That'd be absolutely brilliant, Faz. And look, I remember where I heard it, my man. Big up, Fazzy. And then we have William Kelly, breaking news. My Winky is getting a new contract. No, my Skippy is, though. My Skippy's getting a new contract, and I cannot wait. Hopefully he gets it. Once he signs it, you know exactly what's going to happen there, don't you? Winks bouncing out the door because Skip feels that homegrown and plus that homegrown from the academy role as well, that Skip is so valuable for. So it's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And Winky
should given too many free contracts. He's been given too many contracts, Dave. Winky.
He's had way too many. You don't need to give them too many more. You've got Harvey White coming through. You've got Ollie Skip there. You don't need to have Winks. But the reason why Winks is here is because with the squad registration, right, you have to have a certain amount of homegrown players, but within that homegrown players, you have to have a certain amount that has come through the academy. And that's why Winks is there. But now Skip is going to take that role, which means we can free up Winks, can sell him, free up about 15 million plus wages a week and put them towards someone a bit more better. So it works out. It's absolutely brilliant. But look, guys, I think we are going to end it there, Jack. And what do you think?
No, I think we end it there. Really appreciated everybody, tuning in for this one. Like David said, hopefully Kaneki answers me tomorrow night. But then nonetheless, stats with Jack on Thursday. And then Friday, hopefully over on Tottenham on tour for a little show over there. Saturday, have the big game day, do the pre-match build-up. Basically no place else to go other than here. And then on Sunday, bit of player ratings. And then we kind of wrap it all up again, with the same exact show this time, except it will be the Aston Villa win or lose sort of situation. Win or lose. I do like this series, but everybody, like I said, do head on over to the second channel. If you haven't already, check out maybe some videos that I did reference a few times during this last few 10 minutes as well. Yeah. But yeah, Dave, I think it's been a good show. Really do like doing this series, kind of nice and easy to kind of just chat about, wrap up everything that maybe was on our minds regarding the fixture. And we move on to Villa.
Yeah, look, we move on to Villa. Tomorrow, we'll be answering all things Tottenham Hotspur, loads of various different topics. It's going to be wet and wild. Make sure you are here for it. And then once Wednesday happens, we forget about Newcastle. We don't forget the high run. We still ride that, but then we concentrate on Aston Villa, and hopefully we can do some damage there. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. Really do appreciate the support. Really, really appreciate the financial support as well. You have no idea how much it really does help me and Jack keep creating what we're doing. Because I'll be honest with you, what we put here together today, it does take a few hours. It takes hours to be able to put them into the tactics board. You have to do each player individually. So there's a massive help to everything we do here. Massive thank you to everybody who does smash that like button, that subscribe button as well. It really does help us put this content out to more and more people. So hopefully more and more people can enjoy it just like you do. And a massive thank you to the really kind words that have been in the chat over the course of the last few days. You have no idea how much that motivation keeps myself and Jack going as well. Lets us know we are on the right track as well. So it's absolutely brilliant. The feedback is insane. Guys, get your comments underneath. Let us know what your thoughts were and everything else. And we will be responding. And guys, we'll see you back here tomorrow at 9:30. As always, come on, you Spurs. In Conte we trust, baby.
Come on, you Spurs. In Conte we trust.
Everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. Everywhere we go.